Why can't we hear us? Oh my goodness. This isn't plugged in yet.
How's that?
No. Okay, we should. There we go. We have mic. We have microphone.
Hello.
There we go.
Let's make sure everything's working before I leave. I'm not going to be hanging out the whole time, everyone. And we can't hear the tables.
It's the not that. It's
There we go.
perfect.
Tables are live. Just making sure Facebook gets live. Edit settings. Man, life is hard when you're trying to stream stuff. We've got people getting ready and set up. We're not quite there. It's saying we're offline here too. Fixing the mic. Welcome in. Oh, it's got that. Welcome to Tuesday Night Legacy. Welcome to that. Welcome to this. No viewers here. The live stream does not want to work. Edit settings. Use authorization. No. That's interesting. Publish stream key. Why isn't it going live for me? Sorry guys, we're still figuring out Facebook for a second while we get in here, but we do have our players showing up. So we've got, who do we have here? Is it the table that we're watching, or are we watching this table?
These ones have the dice. Hold on. Yeah, so nobody's on the table with dice, but that's the table one. That's the one that we're going to be watching, I believe.
So it's set up as table 2, but we can fix it. Yeah, we want to fix the white balance here.
Yeah.
There
We
we
got
go.
Zach and
John? Zach and John?
Zach and Ray. Ray, who's been
Zach
on
and Ray.
Miracles.
So we've got right here John on Squawk to Basics.
Okay, you're going with the,
Oh, this is the backup.
the one without dice.
Did we? Damn you!
Yeah.
It's you.
You guys do you. I need to get out of the way.
Yeah, this is the one we want to be watching.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, we should be live with everything. I'm gonna
Thank
go.
you guys.
Get
There
out
we
the
go
way.
for some Tuesday Legacy. We're gonna change some of these names up here. We've got Zach over here, and he's been on a very cool.
Is this Portent Miracles?
Ray is, I believe.
Ray
I
is,
believe so.
okay.
Zach's on Allurin,
Lauren.
which we didn't see a lot of in Vegas.
We did see one last week, and it had white in it.
And Ray, I believe, is on
On
Miracles.
the Portent Miracles.
Yeah. Miracles. I can spell a name. Here we are, guys. Welcome back to some Tuesday Legacy. Let us know if you guys can hear us all right. Make sure everything's sounding good, and we'll get some magic going here. So right away. Oh, we haven't transitioned.
No, we have not.
There we go. There's the other. So that was our backup match, in case these guys ended quickly. So here we go with Zach on your right, Ray on your left, and a Tarmogoyf, just to see one, because who doesn't want to see a Tarmogoyf? We'll try and get the. I believe the chat is up and
All right.
running. as
Turn
well.
one Thoughtseize, and he sees a full grip of Brainstorms.
Brainstorm in some lands. This is where you want to take the fetch land, right? If you had a choice.
If you had a choice, yes.
I don't think that quite
Yeah,
works.
three
but-
brainstorms. I mean, usually you don't like taking those on the turn one,
Right.
but I guess there's not much of an option.
And Ray just goes, hey, I've got a wasteland. Oh, and Zach doesn't have another land drop. That hurts.
And this is gonna be.
Oh, he does
He
have
does.
one here. Okay, so now he can ponder off of this tropical
he
island.
can.
Chooses not to.
No
Interesting.
ponder.
Curious. I don't see. He's got an abrupt decay, an Allurin, and a creature, I believe. So Ray does some brainstorming. Fetches, gets rid of some cards. Well,
He,
sort
kn-
of,
he knew
sort of.
he knew which one
He had
which
a
one
C
was
on top of his
deck.
library, right?
Shuffle, shuffle. Okay, here you
Some
go.
quick shuffling, yeah. And he's gonna ponder. I'm curious why
Why you didn't
Zach
ponder?
chose not to ponder there.
Is there a blue spell that we saw that is an instant
I don't-
speed like a
I don't think there is anything in Allurin.
Allurin?
And I believe Zach plays the white version of Allurin. Maybe it wasn't a ponder.
Maybe not.
All right, well, we'll do some fetching. So today we've got Kyer here with me, Bryce and Kyer, instead of trying to do Brian, Bryce, and Kyer. So hopefully we won't be talking over each other quite as much as last week.
Last week was a lot of distractions.
There's a Tarmogoyf, just like the card I had pulled up, just so you guys knew. So it looks like Zach is gonna not ever play a third land here. Sometimes Wasteland just wins. Oh, cards on the floor. You can see that Academy Rector. That's a little bit of the white splash, which allows him to go and get a Allurin. Kind of plays like a fifth Allurin in a way.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a little too behind in this one, though.
Yeah.
He's got a handful of gas and lots of good things, but it's not going to be enough time to cast them.
Ticking down to 13 life here. And a Tombstalker.
Tombstalker.
So Tombstalker's kind of weird because it doesn't play well with Tarmogoyf.
No.
It looks like here it didn't really matter because it's instant sorcery land and that's all there was anyway. But
On the bright side, Tarmogoyf tends to get itself back up to where
right.
it likes to
So
be.
obviously Ray's not playing Miracles. I'm sorry. He was on Miracles for a little while. It looks like he's on just a Sultai control. Probably playing him to Turok alongside that.
And that'll do it for game one.
So yeah, that was quick, right?
Yeah.
Let's we'll jump into hopefully a more entertaining game too.
Yeah.
I don't know. So the matchup here is kind of weird, right? Because is one favored over the other? I'm sure somebody would say yes, but I don't know which one it is. It depends on how those first couple turns play out, right?
My instinct tells me that the control deck typically is going to be good against the the combo deck, but in this case, Allurin is just a different combo deck. It doesn't play like other ones.
Right.
In the format anyway. It does have a mid-range game to it outside of the combo.
Absolutely.
So it probably is a more even match than it
Ooh,
would
this is
typically
kind of
look.
interesting. It looks like Zach's thinking of bringing in some
Thalia.
Thalias, which would have been a big deal if you'd been able to land one, right?
Yeah.
Against Brainstorm.
Oh my goodness.
Mr. Gator, how are you, sir? Welcome back to some Tuesday Legacy. And RJ Jorgensen. RJ, I always add an extra J in there. It seems like you should have two J's. RJ Jorgensen. Not RJ Orgensen. Or
I just call
R.
him Jorgensen. I just leave
Jensen.
the,
Maybe we'll just
leave
get rid
the
of
R.
the first four letters.
The R is
Jensen.
silent. Makes it easy on me.
Welcome back.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, did any of you guys play some Vegas Magic?
I did.
Kyer here did. Tell me, I haven't talked to you about it. How did Vegas go while these guys are sideboarding?
It was brutal. I started all three of my events very, very strong. And then after my first 3 rounds, I fell apart completely in all 3 events. Narrow game 3s all over the place. It was so frustrating. But since I did all 3 events, I got to do all 3 throwbacks. And I won a lot of tickets.
Nice.
And got some artwork, got some Eternal Masters boosters, just tons of stuff. So it ended up being a success. 3 different formats. Holy cow.
So were you magicked out though? That's always come Sunday. Were you just done?
Definitely not magicked out, but I needed sleep bad. Yeah.
Sure. I wonder how much, like, going into that modern GP, how many people were just like done, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And how much competition
And
there
that's
wasn't.
and that's what's so crazy is like my limited GP. I start off 3-0. My deck feels great. I lose 3 narrow game threes in a row after. Same with modern Jund. So frustrating. But you know what? What's kind of cool? In Legacy, in my 3rd round, I was able to beat Titus Chalk. He just released a new book. I beat him with Chains.
Oh yeah.
He was playing Grixis Delver. It was
Awesome.
awesome. And then in Modern, I lost to Yuta Takahashi playing Fairies, and he ended up in 24th place in the Modern tournament.
Wow.
And he dismantled me in round 4 quite easily.
Isn't that what Jund does?
Yeah, Jund. I mean,
You win the first
Jund-
3 rounds and then you lose the next 3 narrow games.
that I don't think that's exactly what he's saying. I think he's saying that Jund typically is going to go to narrow game 3s, which is
Yeah.
very true.
Right.
It's just losing 3 of those narrow game 3s in a row can be tilting.
Well, and with such a huge GP, the numbers are just skewed now, right? Like, you have to what, get 1 loss maybe in order to top 8. Even some people with 2 losses didn't even cash, right?
I don't think that happened, but I do know that it's brutal. I mean,
So now we're on a Sultai Delver list. It's not.
it's still tight.
I'm not
now.
sure exactly
Two-
what Ray's playing.
Yeah,
So
I mean-
it looked like, I saw really briefly, it looked like Zach actually cited out a couple Allurans. Magic is hard, especially when you're playing in a GP and you don't know what you're going to face, and one mistake ends the
You know,
whole round for you.
That's something interesting to mention. In my main event for Legacy, I saw no duplicates in decks. In my main event in Modern, I saw no duplicates in decks.
Interesting.
So how do you go into a format and try to bring a deck for the metagame
Right.
when
But there
you
isn't
when your first 6 rounds are going to be 6 different decks, right? Like how do you do it? You know, you kind of just can't. I mean,
Yeah. What did you play against in Legacy? What were the
I
3
played
you won and 3 you lost?
I played against. Let's see. I lost a burn. I lost to Turbo Depths, and I lost to I lost to Shardless. It was Shardless.
Like a traditional shardless.
Yeah, and then I beat D&T. I beat Grixis Delver, and I beat. Oh shoot! What's the other one? I want to say it was Sultai Control.
Sure.
I
So
think.
it looked like Ray really quickly checked his Delver trigger there. I'm not sure if he actually did or not. It was fast. So Ray now has a Delver, an unflipped Delver, and a Deathrite Shaman, versus Zach, who's playing Alurin and has 2 lands. So game 1 ended, for those of you guys just joining us, game 1 ended really quick. Zach pretty much just got no lands, and so nothing happened there.
And we've got a Fatal Push for the Deathrite Shaman, and that's going to get Flusterstormed.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to get Flusterstormed twice, whether he likes it or not.
So it looks like he's got an Abrupt Decay in hand, a Rex Sage, and a Recruiter, and a land.
And I think that Abrupt Decay is going to target the Shaman. That's something that he really just can't leave on the board for very long.
And I'm not actually sure what Ray's playing. I'm not sure if he's playing a control build. We saw Tombstalker, and so I just kind of assumed that he was on kind of a Hymn to Turok, Liliana.
Now it's
game
kind of
plan.
looking like he's on Delver,
Yeah,
which I don't do you typically see Tombstalker in the Grixis Delvers?
I haven't seen one.
I haven't
but,
seen it either.
I mean, different Delver decks are playing around Fatal Push, right? So there's whether you're playing an Angler or a Hootie Mandrills.
Mhm.
And, he's also playing Goif though, so
Yeah, Tassiger.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of any one of those spots. It just kind of depends on what you thinking
I
you're
mean,
going to see. there, right?
Tombstalker is a huge threat. There's definitely no reason to
Right.
think that that's not a good card in the deck.
Yeah, Baleful Strix is kind of the one thing Tombstalker doesn't get by, right? Everything
Right.
else, you just, I don't care.
hmm
All right, so Zach actually gets some lands this time. Let's see if he can make, with an unflipped Delver still. All right, we'll just call it Delver.
Sure.
I like it. We'll just keep changing it like we did last week.
We don't know what this person's on, and they keep switching between games.
There we go.
So we'll just keep switching with
I
them.
like it. I like it. So is this a Mana War?
That's what it looks like to me.
That is not what I expected to see right here, but that looks like a original Mana War to me, which allows him to bounce something back to raise hand, and in case you, oh my goodness, what is going on? We got websites that have updated themselves and changed where things go. It's just, there we go. There's a Mana War.
Found it.
It's kind of blurry, but there it is. Pretty sure that's the right art. So, and then here we've got a Hymn to Turok. See, I told you, he's on control. He's on Sultai Delver with Tombstalker and Hymn to Turok.
You just throw Delvers in your Sultai control deck. I don't see why not.
Oh yeah, Mana War. I mean, an instant speed Mana
Yeah.
War with an Allure now is great. I just didn't know it was in his deck.
Mhm.
Did not expect it. So he hits a land, a Breeding Pool, and an Abrupt Decay off of that, I believe.
Right.
Off of that hymn, which is pretty good. Those are the cards you want to hit, right?
I think so.
If you're the Allure player. Smash! Take that, Mana War Jellyfish to the face.
It is somewhat interesting seeing that he still has the Rec Sage. He's got a Reclamation Sage in his hand. Kind of surprising that didn't come out.
Right. Well, he didn't see a heck of a lot. Like,
No, I guess he didn't.
there could easily be a Jitte or something like that.
All right, we got a Recruiter, and we're gonna find something. Looks like he's looking at Baleful Strix, or
He can't actually land Sanctum Prelate, right? If that's what he pulled. I didn't. Let's see what he picks out here. Isn't Rug Delver more of a Canadian Threshold?
somewhat. One deck likes the Threshold cards, and one deck likes the Hooting Mandrills. They function very similarly.
Right. Yeah. Land one threat and keep it out and
Mhm.
protect it with counter magic. Right. Ray's definitely not on Rug though. He's on a Sultai list. And is it? They play differently.
Right.
Where you're
mean,
trying to land a.
This could be a 4-color. Because we did see Goif, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is actually a 4-color Delver deck.
We haven't seen white or red.
So
We've
it is
we've
Sultai.
seen- Yeah,
Okay.
we've just seen Sultai from him.
Sorry, for some reason my head was saying Grixis.
And
I
this
know-
to
I
me
know-
looks like a more traditional him. The card we haven't seen is Liliana, but
Right.
and I'm assuming that's a flipped Delver now, the upside down card.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird way to flip a Delver, but yeah, I would have assumed that he's playing a Jitte as well, based off of seeing what Zach saw game one quickly. So now he's got some nice protection here. You know, he's only looking at a 2/3 Goif and I'm pretty sure a flipped Delver, which is this white card.
And Brainstorm's probably the perfect card for this situation because he's so close to taking the lead in this situation. Not only that, but he gets to get rid of the Reclamation Sage. And I do see a fetch land, so
Yeah, this one's definitely kind of the more mid-range grind,
Mhm.
which is where Deathrite Shaman is great, right?
Right.
If the board's locked, Deathrite Shaman's going to win the game, especially when Zach's down a couple points already. And I'm pretty sure I saw Zach take out several of his Allurans. So, citing out the combo maybe for the Thalias. I'm not sure what came in.
Probably. And that does kind of go along with what we were saying before the match, is like combo just typically isn't good against these Sultai control type decks. Now, based off of last game, he probably thought he was on control, right?
Ooh, we've got a
Gotta go Golgari Charm.
Golgari Charm for -1/-1.
All right.
Takes out a Strix. That's mean. Nice little 2-for-1. And a Wasteland. Trying to
I do
take.
think that. Oh, and a Fatal Push.
So we just
Alright.
saw a Fatal Push on a Mana War.
We
I
did.
did not expect to see that today. I mean, maybe if we were playing Cube, but.
Right. Okay, so I do believe that Zach has a Fatal Push in hand. So it's either going to deal with the Goif. Well, now it has to deal with the Goif, right?
I think he already took damage there.
That would be surprising. Oh no,
It's
it's
a
an Eternal Witness.
Yeah, it's a Witness. So he needs he needs a little help. At 3 life, in fact, I think he's just done for. He could play Strix, but he dies to the Deathrite and 1 attack, right?
Right.
Golgari Charm, just
Yeah, he actually
did the
does
trick.
need to deal with 2 of the threats this turn,
Yeah.
and then the 3rd threat on the following turn, with no interaction from his opponent.
So he's got Brainstorm in a land. It's possible. It's possible. Could be a line.
I do see a Baleful Strix as well. No, he does go to 1 from the Deathrite though, right?
Yeah. Which means he can't fetch. So yeah, that's an Overgrown Tomb. I believe he's playing a list with 2 shocks. That he's just down 2 shocks from.
I wouldn't exactly call it budget. His other lands are all
Yeah.
the choice legacy lands.
I think he's
probably
really close to.
yeah,
a
he's
complete
probably just
list.
close to his build.
And you can get away with 1 or 2 shocks
Mhm.
because when you're fetching, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, some decks need lands that come into play untapped much more than others. I would figure this Alurin deck does not always need a land to come into play untapped. That, and since it is a combo deck, sometimes the 2 life doesn't matter as well. Zach is short 2 duels. All right.
Yeah. Yep. Just
Yeah,
the
that's
2.
not too far off. I mean, I'm sure he's working on it too.
So and you can see there, Ray takes that down. So Ray gets it with a Golgari Charm doing a lot of the work there.
Yeah.
Zach would have been in an all right spot, I think, if it hadn't been for that. But he also never drew another removal spell, and Deathrite Shaman was going to get it done. So we're going to bounce over to our other match.
Which I believe. So I think Brian changed this
We've
one.
got John, and I'm not
And-
100% sure who his opponent is. I just chatted with him. So here we go. We'll transition over. So this is round 1, and I'm not sure what the score is here. If who's won game 1 or what round we're in. We just had the 1 matchup a moment ago, and
How's the sound, guys?
Sounds good.
we're doing good. Patrick, who's John playing on table 2?
Let me take.
And what is this deck?
Yeah, we see some black and green. He's playing like a rock style.
I forget his name. I'll go look in the pairings.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. So
Yeah, you got a Green Sun Zenith.
yeah, and
Green
we've seen some
Flare.
green sun. We've seen a couple black green decks in Legacy. Now, John was last week. He was on this. We called it Squawk to Basics, right? He was on a blue white Stoneblade deck,
Mhm.
but he was playing Squadron Hawk and at least a 1 of main deck back to basics. I'm not sure if his list is the exact same as. There's a Squadron Hawk. So here you guys go. Legacy with some Squadron Hawks in it.
And last week was kind of fun seeing this deck because we saw it a couple times, and it never actually lost. He ended up going 3-0-1, and the deck looked solid.
Right, and sometimes Squadron Hawk helped, and other times
It-
we never even saw it. Right?
Yeah.
But being able to Squadron Hawk away, brainstorm away some Squadron Hawks was a thing, or just having that extra threat. And we still have a Man of War here. There we go, guys.
If anything should be up there, it should be Squadron Hawk or 4 of them.
Yeah. In case you guys don't know what a Squadron Hawk does, which
If you guys are Legacy players, then you might not.
if you're a new Legacy player or a really old one. There we go. That's what that Squadron Hawk is right there, which allows him to go search for at least 1, and often you would search for more than 1.
Right.
His name is Jay Johnson. I think he's on like NickFit.
Okay, so far we've only seen black green, but he could certainly be.
I think
Jay-
I remember.
Jay Johnson.
Yeah, I think I saw him. He was playing the Sunday before.
Nick Fit maybe. There we go, guys.
I feel like I recognize him from.
So he's either on just a green black
Kind of a
rock
rock
deck,
style
yeah.
deck.
Yeah,
or John without the red.
play some trackers and stuff.
I'm
so.
kind of feeling it's a green black rock deck.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me. These are all just Jund cards. It could be Jund. It could
Yeah,
technically be Jund. I mean, he played a Green Sun Zenith, so
Everything is John. Cool. Alright, well, I'll get started.
Oh well, yeah. If he's got a Teague in his hand, then that That is
Will do.
more Nick Fit.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. He's got a little white in there, at least. We'll just keep changing it. Like I
little.
said, we'll just keep changing the.
An Abzan colored deck. All right. We will. We'll just change it as we find out more.
So there was an Abzan deck that went really pretty deep in the GP Legacy. It was playing Siege Rhino, at least day one. I'm not sure how far it went day two, but unfortunately, looks like we don't have life totals for these guys. I'm gonna try and switch that over real quick. Be right back, guys.
Sure. Get those 2 big dice over there. I did not notice until now, but we are mirror imaged again. You know we're mirror imaged, or maybe we're just mirror imaged on one of them and not the other, because this one is.
This one's correct. Oh no, it is mirrored.
No,
Okay.
it's definitely mirrored.
I wondered for some of these cards.
Is the other one not?
I don't think so. Okay. Well, that just makes things difficult.
This way we know which table we're on, guys. The one that's mirrored is our backup match.
See if I can fix that.
Okay, so now we're upside down.
Is it still mirrored?
Well, it's upside down. And yes, it's still
Okay,
mirrored.
so that's not the solution. Goodness. All right, so these guys are on game 3, and I got them to have their life totals out for you guys. I'll let Kyler here tell them what they're doing while I'm distracting him.
All right. So I believe, okay, actually we do want to watch this. I think he just played a Titania. A card that we probably should pull up.
Okay.
Whether or not it stays on the battlefield or not. Titania. Ah, I've always wanted to see this card in Legacy. Yeah, Jorgensen, I swear, every time I've walked in here, Brian's like getting things set up, and it's almost like everything resets when he shuts it down. And I'm not entirely sure why that is, but and if you haven't noticed, we're not exactly like pros at fixing everything. We have to like
Right.
figure it out each time.
There's just a little adjustment each time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun, right, guys? It's fun. All right, let's see if I fix it there.
See, Jorgensen says he would do that. I believe him.
Just come in here and throw things around a little bit. Okay, so I believe we're unmirrored now.
And so we need to switch the names.
Oh, and
then.
the names need to change now. Yep. Goodness. Well, we got to change his name anyways. He's not playing rock, right? He's got.
This is like, I would still call this rock. I don't even know what do you play Titania in? Titania is whenever a land.
Yeah, I believe it's a one of in a Nick Fit deck.
Okay. Oh, is it? I don't know a lot about Nick Fit, honestly.
It plays around Veteran Explorer, right? Which
Okay,
is,
I actually do know what that
There you go.
deck is. I'm just bad with the name, apparently. Yeah, Titania. I actually played her in Commander once. She was a fun one.
right.
Anytime you can make a panorama look good,
So.
makes me happy.
Yeah. Titania has been a Nick Fit. So which is probably what we're seeing here, since we saw a little bit of white. We just haven't seen a Veteran Explorer.
Sure.
He didn't get to trigger Titania, did he?
No.
I was busy messing with things,
Nope.
but
We had a Snapcaster come down and swords it.
we'll go back to Nitfit.
Sure.
We're just gonna keep it.
Yeah, we got
So
one.
and then we'll update the game here. So we're on 1-1, game 3 here,
Awesome.
and so it looks like John's down to 3 life, but he's definitely got the board presence, right?
Yes.
He gets to smash with
And Batterskull's gonna
Batterskull.
Batterskull's
Well,
gonna bring
does he
things
get
back.
to smash with Batterskull? Everything gets -1. Here comes
Okay.
another Golgari Charm. 2 games in a row.
Yeah, so this is gonna reduce the damage to only 3 damage.
Yep.
And it's gonna kill 2 creatures. So he should be going up to 6, I believe.
Oh, a little bit different there, and he should have gained some life there.
He put a 3 die next to his 3.
Interesting.
That's not usually how I keep my life total, but
But yeah, I made these guys start using the large dice. They've been keeping on those little
on their pads.
boards. Yeah. So
We'll try to remember that he's at 6 because he did gain life off the life link.
Yeah, and if you sit down and you're not used to using the dice for life.
Oh, that's what he's saying. They think he's at 33 or. I bet that's 33.
It could be. He probably has gained quite a bit of life off of that batter school.
Off
right?
batter
If it's
school.
been out for
Yeah,
a
that
while.
would make much more sense.
As we just try and guess what's going on.
I'm
What
like,
is happening in this game?
6 life?
What
Like,
deck is he playing? What life is he at? I don't know. Here we go. Here's some
We're paying-
magic.
We'll try to pay attention now.
So, Nick Fit's interesting in that you're attempting to. Ooh, okay.
Him, and this is gonna get
Misdirected.
misdirection. Okay.
That's
Another-
rude. Just rudeness. Making him discard that Gaddock Teague.
Yeah, that was a that was a big hitter.
All right, so Jay's going to fall down to 6 life, and John's still not gaining life.
And what did he find? We got another him, and I think that should be it.
Right. I'm not sure what deck he's playing. He's playing some green-black cards with a Gaddock Teague. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, well, and so, I mean, obviously it won a game. We don't know how that transpired. It looks like Stoneforge Mystic is just doing what it does. And him takes care of 2 wastelands. Take that. Those wastelands that were doing practically nothing. And he takes 5 more, goes to 1. And what can he draw that I have no idea what it is in his deck that gives him an out here?
I mean, unless he like top decks Death Cloud, I'm not I'm not sure.
Hey, Rex Sage would do the trick right here. Oh, that's
Oh,
up by
right.
you. Okay, so John with his Squawk to Basics deck. I'm not sure about that name, guys, but he takes it down, and
I think he would just be better called Cobblade.
Right.
Honestly, Squawk to Basics. It's cute. Let's be real, but
yeah, I kind of want to see a little bit of this deck from Jay to see what was actually happening. A Gaddock Teague with no white, and maybe we can get a glimpse at it right here. He's playing Green Sun Zenith, so I guess he could Green Sun it out, right?
the Titania
The Gaddock Teague.
in the Gaddock Teague, yeah.
So yeah, he's got Pernicious Deeds. It looks like a Nick Fit dick. Nick Fit dick. I'm so sorry. Nick Fit deck. No, so deck lists became kind of a pain. We asked people to turn in deck lists. Some were doing it digitally, some were writing them down, and a lot of people were making minor changes.
Pretty
So
constantly.
we haven't asked for deck lists for quite a while now. If there is a list that wins, that's something new and different, we've got somebody writing up about them.
Right, and I mean, it wouldn't be too weird of a thing for if chat really did want to see what a deck was all about. I'm sure we could ask him about it
Yeah. This
after
is
the tournament, of course.
So the one card that I haven't seen here is Veteran Explorer, but I didn't see the whole list there.
It might just be an Abzan Rock deck. Like, I honestly can't tell.
So after, do you think people make changes to what they're playing in Legacy at all after GP in Vegas? Do you think everybody just keeps playing what they do, what they enjoy, and
I think
and
so,
No
yeah.
real changes. I mean, we saw Death Shadow in Legacy,
Yeah.
which is something new and different.
Honestly, there's no reason that deck shouldn't be able to do well. It has a lot of play to it, and I mean, heck, it lets you play a couple of
Right? It might be the least
shock
expensive
lands. Like,
Legacy deck. I don't know.
yeah,
exactly what the
you get to
build
like
is.
split 1-ups with your revised duels and your shock lands.
And we'll jump back here. Boom, just like that. So they featured a couple interesting decks.
Okay.
People trying to bring something new, and I think most of them didn't do so hot.
I have not gotten to go back and look, so I am.
There was an interesting deck somebody was trying to do. They called it.
I think we just went down.
Ooh. We bounced down, huh? Normally that just comes right back. Boo. Let us know if you guys are not seeing us here at the moment. Let's do it. Let's do a check here. Why would it have dropped?
Oh, there it goes.
And it's back. Weird.
Right when you pull out your phone.
Yeah.
So weird. It said we were offline for a sec. I was worried.
So
Yeah, I didn't get to see any coverage, so I'm super excited. Let's hear it. I want to see about. I want to hear about these.
one of the
decks.
more interesting ones that I thought had potential was they called it Turbo Planeswalkers, and everybody, of course, was really excited about something new and different, right?
Mhm.
And it just featured like every single Mox you could do: Mox Diamond, Mox Lotus, Lotus Petal, trying to turbo out a Planeswalker as quick as you could, turn 1 or turn 2.
Okay.
And then Days Undoing is a way to reload. And okay, but I don't think it did very well.
I mean, it's a real strategy. It might not be a real deck, but like
The idea, the concept
the,
is
the,
there.
the concept to me doesn't seem ridiculous. It seems like it could work.
Yeah.
Now, is it better than other things? Probably not, but but it seems cool.
You think Angler and Goyf are better options for a huge creature, as opposed to Death Shadow? One thing I think is curious about Death Shadow is that there's a lot of people in Modern playing it, right? And
Yes.
who know it well, know the numbers well. And if you're not used to playing against Death Shadow in Modern, then it's not exactly clear when you're supposed to attack and when you're not, right?
Right.
When you're supposed to deal incremental damage versus wait till you can do it all. So it might actually be strong in Legacy simply because Legacy players aren't used to seeing it.
Sure, and you know, watching this Modern GP and seeing the actual results, I heard a lot of talk about people wanting this card banned, and I thought that was super silly. Because first off, the deck is incredibly difficult to play. It's not a deck that plays itself.
Right.
And seeing it be in Legacy, or seeing people try to make it work in Legacy, I mean, it's a good strategy. It's a good deck. It's beatable. Modern proved that with this last GP. It got annihilated.
Right. Well,
People came prepared.
Well, I don't know if people came prepared or if the field was just big enough, right? There was enough affinity players that they were able to steamroll.
Yeah.
And sure, can we boost the volume? Yeah, we should be able to boost the volume. That is a great question. That's always what my fear is, that our volume is not high enough.
Like we said before, everything seems to reset each time we do this. Either that or between streams, Brian just comes in here and messes with everything.
Yeah, just like a jerk. So just get a hand right there. Let's see. We can do it this way. This way. Let's see if this works. Nope, not that way.
You can't pull it all the way up. Not that would do
Yeah.
a ton, but
That's not what. How? We'll mess with that.
all right. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, what I personally think the Esper and Bant Deathblade are great decks. Now, in the metagame, that's a super interesting way to put it, because the more I play Legacy and the more I watch Legacy, metagames are different everywhere. From a GP standpoint on a metagame, honestly, I kind of like it because the deck tends to be good against, about 50% of the field or better. So I personally like it. But if depending on your local metagame, it may not be great. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Bryce?
Between Esper or Bant, as a, like
one or the other.
one or the other, or just in the overall. In the overall, I think Deathblade is great. I'm not sure the exact build right now, and I think everybody's still trying to figure that out,
I
right?
think
Because
so.
there are so many different lists running around.
People are using Stoneforge Mystic in all kinds of decks right now,
right.
trying to find the best build for it. And maybe it's that people don't think that Deathblade decks are the best ones, but I don't know, Esper or Bant. I think they're both really strong. I don't think I'd put one over the other necessarily.
I think right now Esper's a little stronger, but it might just be that the players that are miracle players, that are strong players, or traditionally strong players, are the ones that are playing Esper.
Okay.
So it's difficult to judge sometimes. Is one deck better than the other, or are stronger players playing one over the other, right? And producing results that way.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, and it does depend on your metagame.
So Brian ended up day 2. I don't know his final score.
He did go day 2, but he ended up dropping before he could get to 10-5 record. So I think I want to say he went into day 2 at X&2, and then he lost his next 3 rounds. he kind of pulled a me, except I just did it earlier,
Right.
and didn't waste time going into day
Right.
2 doing it.
So other than Danny, I know that we had a Lands player make day 2, and from Utah, and Michael. Let's see if I can pull up the actual results list. We had a couple others make day 2
Yeah, we
for
did.
sure, and some of them went fairly deep, I believe. That's a great question, though. I tried to get results from people, and whoa, they were busy playing cards.
Yeah,
strangely.
a lot of us have only been back for 1 day, so if they're not here tonight, then we really haven't heard a lot from people yet.
Yeah.
Probably by next week we'll have a better idea of how people that go to this store or play in Utah did in general.
So here's a wonderful top 8 list. That's not what I want.
I don't know that all the deck lists are up yet.
Yeah, we have
I've
to
searched.
64, I believe, now. Somewhere.
I have looked. The 9th through 16th.
Yeah, where did the list end up?
Can we get Brian in to talk about vintage games he played in Vegas? He did not play any vintage in Vegas.
Oh, sad.
I happen to know, and this is what made me laugh so hard, is he played Legacy, and then when he was done with day 2, he decides that he's going to get on a plane and fly to Boise just to play some Netrunner.
Just to commentate on that.
Was it commentating?
Yeah.
And so he commentated on Netrunner, and then he came back to Vegas?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so he ended up coming back to Vegas, and I don't think he played in too many events, or if any, once he came back. Since he drove down to Vegas, I'm pretty sure that's the only reason he even came back at all. His car was there.
Right? Let's see if we can find some deck lists here. It's going to take me a moment here while I dig through websites. I apologize. I'm in cosplay right now. That's not where I want to be.
Not so much.
Final standings. Maybe. So in the meantime, we've got round 1 done. Would you mind checking and let us know how close we are to round 2?
Yeah.
Without anybody checking here. All right. Here's an actual standings list. Final standings with
We got 6 more minutes.
6 minutes left in round 1.
Looks like a couple people are still playing.
So scanning this list for names I know. And I actually don't know everybody from Utah, so I'm not the best to tell you either. Alex Sittner got
Alex
68th place.
36
That's 36 points. So that's right there, considering this 40 there was 4 players at 40 or higher, 5 players. And
I mean,
another
Alex Sittner's probably the best player in Utah.
20th place was 39
And he
points.
has been for a couple of years, so that's definitely good for him.
Yeah, he played in the last Pro Tour.
Yeah, he's played in the last quite a few Pro Tours
Right.
actually. He's a very, very powerful player.
And I know that we had a couple other players that made day 2 for sure. But when you're going through a list of, there was how many players was it 2,000 players?
It was over 2,000.
That's just crazy, right? So here we are looking at the top 200, and it's difficult to find names.
Burn was probably the highest percentage deck there, and it was also probably the lowest percentage deck that made it to day 2. Just
Yeah,
letting you know.
Yeah.
So next time, should you know Alex Sittner, he is the owner of Oasis Games
Right.
in downtown Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
He's well known around here. He's definitely been to Pro Tours. I've seen him on feature matches in Pro Tours, but I don't think he's a well-known name.
No, not like some of the
No.
other pros that you'd know him if you are
Yeah.
in Utah. Let us know if the sound is better or if I just made it worse by whatever I did a minute ago to increase it louder. Did drop of Honey Spike. That's kind of silly. It's not the sideboard card I'd want to be playing out of lands. In fact, I don't think it even did that well for him, for the Lands player, right?
It's kind of funny though.
Yeah, and
It's a good card.
there's a functional reprint in white,
Yeah.
right? So it's definitely on the reserve list, but it's also been reprinted.
Yeah, Mr. Gator, Oasis is more of an online store than it is an actual location. Their location's it's pretty small, but they do hold tournaments there. They're more of an online store though.
Yeah, and they're one of the first, I believe, I certainly could be wrong, they're one of the first stores here in Utah that was kind of a player-run store, right?
Yes.
Where Alex opened it up, and I don't know the whole backstory there, but he was definitely a Magic player first, as opposed to many card stores were first a comic book store or something else, and kind of transitioned into being a card store, or their game stores in a different way, run by a store owner, right?
Yeah, they have a huge inventory.
Right. So we'll get round 2 going up here for you guys.
Yeah, probably.
Tell me more.
probably
Tell me a
pretty
little
soon.
bit more about Vegas, other than going 3-3.
Just 3-3, the musical.
How was actually starting? Did they start near on time, and how was it run?
Yeah, they did a pretty good job. I think as far as Legacy and Modern went, they did a great job. They started pretty close to on time. They started strong. The sealed tournament was a mess for starting it up. They didn't give directions, and if you've ever been to a sealed tournament at a GP level, it used to be that you had to like register a pool and then like pass it twice, and then they changed it a couple years back to where like you would only you would open up your pool and then hand it to the person across the table from you, and then they would register it, and then you would register theirs. And I was under the impression it was still that way. And they did something completely different this time. Didn't really explain it to anybody. And then next thing you know, we had our pools already listed, and we had to like hand our pools across the table to the other person and have them double check it, but they don't actually like sign anything. They don't do anything, so everybody was just wildly confused. I was not the only one, and the poor kid next to me, he had to have been like 10 years old, and his mom is like standing off to the side of me, you know, okay, is everything gonna be all right? Is everything gonna be okay? You're all right? Okay, good. All right, make sure to put your leg through your backpack. Okay, we're good, got it. And then the kid goes to like check the other guy's pool and just starts checking them as he's going down the line, and he's totally checking the played box. And it's just everybody's confused, the kid's messing up, and I didn't do anything. Like when I don't know what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna wait until people screw up, and then they have to come fix, and then I can do it correct the first time.
And there was some 2,000 people for that as well, right?
Yeah, it was huge.
So you had people trying to yell commands across a full table.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane.
But Legacy and Modern were all right.
Yeah, they went much more smooth.
Brian, help me. How do I turn up the volume on the mic? I did an actual just 200% increase through the settings in this.
Well, did we get any feedback?
And
Is it sounding better than it was before we switch things up again?
Okay.
We don't want to.
we're gonna destroy their eardrum faces. That should be about right.
Let me turn this back down then. Here we go. So it's on.
How does it sound now? I don't want to like yell in your guys' ears.
That's media source, not Mike. Mike is here.
Oh, okay. So that's been changed. I gotcha.
This is much better. Okay.
There we go.
Awesome.
Hey.
See, we just needed our tech guy.
Hey, Mr. Gator.
So
guess what, guys? So I met H.C. Fox in Vegas. I met the man.
He's not here in
the
chat.
man, the myth,
He's
the
not.
legend.
Yeah. So he met you and he's never coming back, apparently.
I guess that's what it is. So I stumbled on him playing a vintage game where he was playing He was playing Oath versus Grixis Thieves, and ended up losing after having a Library of Alexandria in play for like 12 turns.
Wow.
From turn 1. It was very funny. The guy also sideboarded out his Time Vault. He tinkers and is like, "Where's my Time Vault? No!" Anyways, it was very funny. And then we played some Legacy, but he was on Just Guy Stifle Knot. And so I'll be posting a list. I'll message you guys a list so that you guys can throw it into chat or whatever. Or I'll message it to Alton so you can throw it into chat.
Cool.
And I got a picture of it. And
Yeah, I did have somebody pass me at one point in the tournament, and they said, "Hey, I watch you guys stream. You guys do awesome." And then he just walked away. He just walked away from me, and I was like, "Thanks." I was like, "Oh man, I would have liked to talk to somebody who watches the stream." That guy was just gone.
That's awesome.
Hey guys, so guess what? Today was the final episode in season 2 for Kitchen Table Magic.
Yeah.
Guess who the guest was?
I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to.
Listen to it, but yeah.
Yes.
It is Richard Garfield. And it is
Nice.
spectacular.
An actual like one-on-one interview. We haven't.
There are not very many of those.
Yeah, other than a couple like text interviews.
Yeah.
That are short.
But you hear him and you can just like, you hear the genius behind, like, you're just like, oh my goodness. This man is spectacular.
So if you guys haven't heard of Kitchen Table Magic, you can just Google that. It's a podcast.
kitchentablemagic.org.
Yeah, and you can just listen to it right off their site, and
Yep.
it's sweet. It's just
Or you can find it in podcasts or
Yep.
whatnot.
while you're doing something else, you can just listen to us. Really, there's some pretty awesome interviews in there.
They've got, I mean, between season 1 finale was, oh man, what's his face that just goes insane about everything and wants the new unsets and designs everything.
Morrow, right?
Mark Rosewater. There we go.
Who's getting another unset?
Yeah,
Yep,
he
he's getting
is.
another unset. He was season 1 finisher, and then they had Richard Garfield as season 2 finisher. So like, where do you go from here? But like Marshall Sutcliffe, Randy Bueller, like the inventor of the deck, like
Right.
all of everyone who is anyone in Magic Design. They
Yeah.
haven't had Aaron Forsyth yet, but Magic Design has been very well taken out. So, anyways,
Oh, we just got.
Brian,
lucky.
let us know what round 2 pairings are looking like. We're kind of away.
We're kind of in the dark, and by
Yeah.
that I mean we're actually in the dark.
We should be round 2 here right about now.
pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Somebody said vintage, and in comes Brian.
In comes Brian. He
That's what
probably
you
was
said.
looking at chat.
First thing.
What do you want to bet?
So I saw this person, and he was playing vintage.
Yeah, unset 3, Jorgensen. It's gonna be sweet. I almost want to just like buy a bunch of boxes just to.
turns.
Okay, we still have one
just-
match on turns.
Yeah, I just want to buy a bunch. Just I gotta show Wizards like, come on, we need more garbage like this.
So, well, I don't know.
It's gonna be fun. It's
I think
pointless.
I think it
but-
will be fun because okay, here you have a designer who's been on the lead on several different sets, right?
Yeah.
And he's been literally building this set for years, right? For what, a decade?
Yeah.
Or something? No, 5 years, 6 years, something like that. He said since 2011 he's like started it.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's going to be pretty awesome. Now I'm curious, will it be like a draft deck, a draft format?
I
Would
don't.
that be the intent, kind of like master sets, or is
I
it just going to be?
I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I don't. I wish I had something to tell you and some ideas to pull out, but
How awesome! The
I
format
don't
basis
even
will
have
be.
I don't even have anything to say about Iconic Masters yet. Like
Oh, right? There's
that's been out
no
there, and
info. It is kind of weird because here we have this new era of leaks, right? We've got an entire rare sheet of the not the next set, but the next set, and yet nobody has any.
Ixalan.
Yeah, nobody has
Ixalan.
anything at all on Iconic Masters other than it's probably.
We
gonna be
know we're gonna
overpriced.
have pirates and dinosaurs, and guys, I can't even wait to play with pirates and dinosaurs. I wish I was saying that jokingly, but I'm just not.
Yeah,
I'm
it should just
really
be fun,
really
right?
excited.
It should just be fun. So I think that there could be a lot of different ways that he could go with. It's unglued, unhinged, and what's the third one? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I only heard it
Come
once.
on, chat.
Chat, tell us, what's the third unset before we find it?
I'm gonna find it. But previously, when he's made those other sets, the audience of Magic was a lot younger, right? The entire audience was a
Right.
lot younger kids, so there were silly things.
Unstable.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
not stable.
No, that is.
I just
Sorry, I ruined it.
I was
ruined
too
it.
slow here.
Yeah, we totally knew. We knew it was unstable. Come on, Jorgensen. Still slow.
We're just trying to get you guys to interact with us here.
Yeah, unstable. Awesome name too. Like, really excited for this one.
Let's go this way. So, whoever said dad jokes, that's totally like a thing, right?
Yep.
Is you could have a lot more cards with a lot more a deeper humor or things that people don't necessarily get.
Another thing to mention is like before with the other unsets, we didn't have things like memes.
Right.
And now we do,
Yeah.
and they're everywhere, and they've been everywhere for years, and they get outdated, and then they come back, and we keep seeing new ones. There's a lot of different humor to be played off on this one, or unexpected.
Or unexpected. Unexpected. Yeah,
Unexpected.
that would be unexpected. So I'm a little, what is it? I don't know what the right word is. I'm not worried. I'm not, maybe just surprised by how much Magic is being released. Right? So,
Yes.
I mean, okay, you're changing the sets to 4 blocks and back to core set. That's fine. That doesn't really alter things much, right? But we already had Modern Masters this year, right? And now we're getting Iconic Masters this year.
in the same year,
And this Unstable release at the end of
Right.
this year.
and we're still gonna have our From the Vault. We're still gonna have our dual decks
And Commander this year.
and
That's
Commander.
a lot of product.
That is a lot of product.
And is that a good thing? Do people just want as much product as they possibly? Because I used to be the type of player who was like, yeah, I'm going to try and buy as much of each thing as I can. I want to be current on the Commander sets, and I want to play a little bit of each Master set, stuff like that. I can't keep up with it now.
It's hard to tell if they're making these sets to reprint things. It's because
That's some of it, for
let's
sure,
face it,
right?
Wizards knows that the community wants reprints on these pricey cards. You think Iconic Masters is going to be full of junk? Yeah, I mean, it could. It's pretty hard to tell from this point.
All right, I'm going to find out who we've got for round 2 here.
Oh, they really fixed that up.
Yeah.
Is this on the right table? You want to get the dice on this table too?
We can just switch. There we go. So we've got Calvin by his mat.
Or is this not table two though?
It's we can
Sure.
show either one. Just bounce.
Okay.
And we'll transition over here. We've got Calvin, and I'll find out who Calvin is playing. 1 sec.
All right. 10-1 Flusterstorm is in Iconic Masters. Yeah, I think that is definitely something that needs a reprint. Another card I could absolutely see is Horizon Canopy. That card is just really, really high in value right now. Isn't that Commander 17? So iconic creature types. So yeah, Jorgensen's saying that they're focusing on iconic creature types, which yeah, I think that is I think I did hear something about that in Commander, because they've already released a couple of the Commander cards and they seem quite tribal. Yeah, and they're not going to put Flusterstorm in a Commander deck. Absolutely not. They already made that mistake once, and look what's going on with that.
Right, but they missed it putting it in.
Yeah, Commander 17 is for sure tribal. We do know that. I haven't seen anything about Iconic Masters being tribal, but I mean they could. We haven't.
Well, and the assumption is that we're going to see like Sarah Angel and Shivan Dragon, right? But that's not. That doesn't work for a $10 pack.
No, but it does. Those do work for limited just fine. But
Right.
these are $10 packs that they've got to put value. And let's face it, when you think of Iconic, you're gonna think of a lot of the cards that are like in decks now.
Right.
These are cards that have been in Legacy decks, been in Modern decks,
Yep.
and they just continue to see play because those are iconic to us right now. It's hard to say if when they say iconic, are they thinking iconic like what used to be iconic, or what is iconic now?
Right. Yeah, it's different to different people, right?
Yes.
It's different to me. And they always have said each color has kind of an iconic creature class, right?
Sure.
Green being hydras because they could never figure it out, or for a little while it was worms, whereas some of the others it was much more clear. Blue was sphinxes for a while, and maybe still is. Yeah, and so I'm very curious to see what it'll be, and hopefully it'll be a fun draft format. I guess in some ways, Modern Masters was really fun to draft for quite a while, but I'm not super excited to keep drafting it, right?
No.
Like I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't the sealed format for Vegas when it was first announced. But by the time Vegas rolled around, it had been out for a while.
Right.
And draft formats are fun when they're new. So maybe it won't matter as long as there's enough value in there to justify the price of the packs.
And that the limited format's
and,
good.
And that it's fun and different, right?
Yeah.
Which is great. So we got to see Infect here. We haven't seen Infect on camera in Legacy in quite a while.
Awesome. I mean, this deck is still very strong.
Yeah.
I mean, it got nerfed in Modern, but it did not get nerfed in Legacy.
Right. And
So-
a Berserk can come out of nowhere and just end a game,
Yes.
surprisingly.
All right, and this week we've got Calvin on Delver. He decided to put the Storm deck down for a week, yeah?
Right. Yeah. I think he's got those 2 decks and kind of bounces back and forth between them. Yeah, I'm just, it kind of goes back to that concept of being worried, right? Like, here we already have Masters 25, just not that much further away. I had it up here just a minute ago. Masters 25 in March 16th of next year. So we're going to have a Masters set, Iconic, in November 17th, and then another one March 16th.
5 months
So
later.
here you're doing this Iconic Masters set right before what is going to be an
4 months
iconic Masters set, right? 25-year anniversary. It feels like some of those cards should be in one that are going to want to be in the other one. Right?
And how are these? If they keep releasing master sets like this, how is this affecting their standard product sales?
Oh man, did you see that Vegas had no standard events fired because of lack of demand?
Yeah, I saw the sign, and I like looked over at Patrick, and I was like, "You see that?" And he goes, like tear, like, "Oh, sad." And I'm going, "Well, I mean, right now there are 3 constructed formats, for competitive play. Yes, I'm not going to include Vintage just because people don't really have access to it. And one of them's just not being played. I mean, granted, people weren't playing because Aetherworks still wasn't banned yet. The banning had been announced, but it was still active, or it wasn't active yet.
Right.
So it makes a lot of sense for people not want to play standard.
Right.
Yeah.
Until the format's
Until the
changed.
format's changed.
Yeah.
That, and I mean, we had a Modern and a Legacy GP. Like, that's what people are there to play anyway. And if they don't want to play those, they can play
But
Limited.
if you had some 3,000 people in a room, all Magic players, and nobody really wants to fire standard, right?
Yeah.
There's obviously an issue there. I wouldn't have wanted to. Exactly what I'm saying too, Jorgensen, is that the cards that I would want to see in Masters 25 feel like they should go in an Iconic set. But there is enough cards to go around, I guess. They've successfully done. I think the last Modern Masters was well done. It felt like you were getting value for cards, and it successfully made some cards go down in value that should have.
I
gone
think
down.
so. Yeah. Not only that, but I think Masters 17 was, guys, it was an amazing draft format.
Yeah,
like,
it was fun.
You could do whatever you want to do. It was so much fun.
And you could be sitting next to somebody. You could both be drafting the same colors, but have completely different archetypes, and it would work, right?
Right.
Because you wouldn't want whatever the person next to you was taking.
All right, let's shift gears. Yeah.
Well, I guess we could talk about the Magic that's actually streaming, right? We've got a
Yeah.
Delver down and a Blighted Agent down. Some 1/1s.
Yeah. We've already. All right.
Now, Delver Secrets, everybody knows Delver Secrets, right? It's just a measly 1/1.
Yes.
But on the flip side,
It's a measly 3/2.
we get a Force of Will on Blighted Agent. Take that. None of this. Oh, it looks like a blind flip, and maybe it's not a blind flip. It looks like he maybe brainstormed earlier.
I don't think so. Maybe.
May have just
Can't tell
missed
what's
that.
under the Force of Will.
Yeah, I'm on that one. Well, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a lot easier to create these master sets and make them a fun draft format than it is to make a new standard set, right?
Not only that, but they're paying less artists to make less art.
Right.
So
That's true.
they're like, all right, these 10 cards are going to have new art. And everybody's like, woo.
Yeah, and if you sat one of us down with enough time and enough seriousness, we could probably put together a master set that would be pretty fun to do, right?
Probably.
I
I think it's easy for Wizards to do in general, and it seems to be making them money, or else they wouldn't continue to make them.
and it appeases people that are saying prices are too high, right, for Modern and for Legacy. Yeah, and I think it would be challenging too because they are so far ahead to to gauge prices because prices can fluctuate so quickly. Oh, this card needs a reprint, and it's just kind of a throwing darts at a board, right? If you happen to get lucky and hit the card that needed a reprint or not.
Mr. Gator says, "Isn't that called Cube?"
Right.
Well, in my personal opinion, Cube is just its own thing, man. It's a different game. I like to keep it on its own. Best way to play Magic.
Which we totally bailed on chat last week.
Yeah, I felt really, really bad. And I was like really mad because I had to put a lot of work into making sure everything was set, and it didn't happen.
What is the green card in Jeremy's hand? It's Reinvigorate. Is that what it's called?
Invigorate.
Invigorate. It's just a foil.
Yes, it is. It's an Eternal Master's foil.
It's not an Eternal Masters, is it?
Now
It sure
on.
is. There we go. Okay.
Found it.
So-
Let's pull that sucker
So
up.
for those of you that, what's happening?
Big.
Goodness. Why the silliness there? I don't get it. Changing things. Oops.
Whoa.
Don't do that. Sorry,
All right,
guys.
so we're pulling up Inkmoth Nexus. We're hitting, and we are going to cast Invigorate.
Why did it change?
So I'm not sure why we're having trouble with showing you guys Invigorate, but if you control a forest, rather than paying Invigorate's mana cost, you may have an opponent gain 3 life, and then target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. So normally this card's not great because you're like giving +4/+4 to a creature, but you just gained your opponent 3 life. But in this case, Infect uses it really, really well.
Yeah, because they don't care if you're giving you life. It's just free.
It is actually just a free give +4/+4 to my creature, and this card plus Berserk wins. So
Yep. And so here he used it on his Inkmoth Nexus, right? To give it, so 5 infect damage came through. Luckily, Calvin just had the answer.
had the Wasteland.
So I'm not sure exactly how much poison Calvin is at right now. 5, right?
It looks
At
like
least.
a 5 to me. In fact, it's definitely a 5.
And Delver is doing its thing. He's got him on a clock.
Yeah, but it looks like
There is a way to put poison counters on screen. Normally they use a dice. I can definitely put that on though. We'll do it like this. 1 second, guys.
Bryce using his techie knowledge.
I just randomly click buttons and hope that it works. Literally, that just happened.
POI. There you go.
And it's going to be blue, even though that makes no sense. Because it's poison, it should be green. Wow. And it's too blue. I'm sorry, guys. We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, now it's poisony.
I like it.
And what's the Yu-Gi-Oh card in Calvin's hand? That's a good question. It might be.
It's days.
Oh.
100% days.
Does he have a masterpiece?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that usually Yu-Gi-Oh cards aren't allowed in Magic, but just for Calvin, we're gonna make an exception. Just this once, all right?
So, Jeremy's got a Days of his own, a Force of Will. Is that a? What's the?
It's
Berserk
a blossoming defense and a
and a
berserk.
Berserk. So, luckily for Calvin, he has no infected creatures on board right now.
Yeah.
Berserk plus Blossoming Defense is not going to work with a Noble Hierarch. Sometimes Infect does transition into just a normal damage beatdown deck.
And they do have a Dryad Arbor, and they have a
Yeah.
Noble Hierarch.
Yeah.
They could transition. The issue is they need to deal with this Delver.
Right, and he didn't even attack there. He could have attacked with his Arbor for 2 damage.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just feels that keeping open mana is gonna give his opponent a reason not to go all in.
Delver, 2 more swings with a Delver is going to do it, or Delver and a Bolt, right?
Yes.
So Jeremy goes down to 3, and it looks like Calvin just passes. He can hard cast a Force of Will here. if he has one.
I think he drew a land.
We've got the head tilting thing here going on to see. Okay, so Jeremy just scoops that up.
You see, guys, if I move my head over here, I can see on the other side of his hand. Promise.
I do that way too much.
All right, I don't promise. I take that back. I would never lie to you guys.
So Delver takes that down. We're gonna fix this. We're not gonna fix it.
I'll tell you something else I did in Vegas though.
Ooh.
I had this box full of just awful foil cards.
Okay.
Right? I've been collecting them for like years. Just every time I get a foil, I just kind of like throw it away, and I ended up having let's see, I think like close to 2,000 just awful foils. These are foils that like you would look at them and you'd be like, does that have playability? Absolutely no.
Okay.
Like if a card had any question of playability in the future, then I would keep it. So I got rid of these just at a vendor, and I was so happy because it was like 180. Awesome. So I picked up like a foil Yawgmoth's Will and Invocation Consecrated Sphinx. Really cool looking. Foil Bloodghast, some other sweet foils for the cube.
While these guys are sideboarding, I'll transition over real quick. I think we have Ray over here
What is this?
on Delver versus something different for you guys here. It looks like we're playing Scrublands.
Is that a hidden stockpile?
It might be a hidden stockpile.
And I see a Grafted War Gear. I'm excited to see that card. But is this hidden stockpile? I really think it totally is. Yeah, let's definitely get that pulled up, because I know that nobody in this chat ever plays Standard, so they have no idea what this card does. You guys wouldn't do that, right? You guys wouldn't play Standard.
Why did it change?
Right.
Their new site has changed. I gotta go to a different site for the cards.
That's really odd. There it is. All right, so Revolt. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. Then you may pay 1 generic, sacrifice a creature to scry 1. So this is like an Aristocrats kind of a
I think I saw a list playing for stockpiles in Vegas. You can only make one a turn.
Correct.
But you can do it, and it's only at your end step.
Yes, only at your end step. But once you have 1 token, it's really, really hard to get rid of that 1 token for your opponent.
So here we've got a Cabal Therapy.
And we don't know what he named, but he definitely missed.
I'm pretty sure his opponent is Ray. I'm blanking on who's playing this hidden stockpile deck. Let's see if I can pull up the hidden stockpile list.
Oh, is there an actual Legacy list that's going around with this?
I thought I saw a hidden stockpile being played at in Vegas.
Really?
But
Oh, my brother would be so happy. He loves cards like this. He's been experimenting with hidden stockpile.
It's like a Goblin Bombardment list, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like that's actually just what he played. Is a Goblin Bombardment.
So this is a zombie bombardment, right? you're playing some Bitter Blossoms and a Bloodghast as a way to just fuel a Goblin Bombardment for the win.
Yes.
And
Goblin Bombardment's a one of.
We've got this different thing going on here. Sorry, guys.
I mean, we don't know that this is his exact list, but it's probably where he found it.
Yeah, it looks like it's actually pretty
I
accurate.
mean, he does have a Phyrexian.
to this
Is
list.
this a Phyrexian tower that's on the board?
Yeah, Phyrexian Towers and some different things happening. So Goblin Bombardment is amazing. I played against somebody that dropped it on me, And I went, I lost.
Yeah.
I was playing Delver, and I'm like, you can just ping anything you want?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good job.
I have lost to Goblin Bombardment many times. In, like, all sorts of formats, too. It's hilarious.
You only get to scry if you activate it, if you sacrifice a creature and
Yes.
scry.
Let's transition back. Looks like these guys are getting started.
Yeah, we'll jump you guys back to that game if we have time for it.
I assume we will. This is a very like, if you're playing Hidden Stockpile, it's got to be a grindy deck, right?
Yeah, it can just end games quickly.
Yeah. I'd have to take a look at the deck list, but it seems all kinds of crazy.
And this
Zombardment is a fun deck. Have you played it, Jorgensen? Have you messed with it at all?
Yeah, you get to play Lingering Souls. You get to faithlessly loot. You've got Enlightened Tutor to go find your bombardment, right, or a Bitter Blossom or a stockpile.
Contamination.
And yeah, you gotta have fun. It plays 2 of Grave Pact.
I'm not gonna lie, this deck looks just awesome.
It doesn't play blue, so you don't get
This is
counter
a deck
magic
this is a deck you would find me playing.
but you do get 4 of Cabal Therapies and 2 Thoughtseize.
Mhm.
So much like the Dead Guy Ill list, it tries to disrupt early.
Much more tools in Legacy for sure.
We had some long sideboarding there for these guys.
I thought they had their hands pulled up. Are they both Mulgany?
Must have.
Must have. Yeah, I'll have to look into these decks. They just seem awesome. What's I don't know this one. What's this one?
Undiscovered Paradise?
Oh yeah.
The land that
Okay.
you
Once I saw it, I'm like, yep.
you have to bounce it back.
Mhm.
And the reason there
It revolts.
is you want landfall for Bloodghast.
Yeah, and it also triggers revolt.
Yeah.
Because revolts
Right.
when it leaves play.
Right.
That's some fun tech. I like it.
Pull it up there. Ah, too many screens. Doesn't let me do that. That's
No, it really doesn't.
all right. So here we go. Game 2.
Both players on 6.
Infect versus Delver. And Infect had it going game 1, but a timely wasteland.
Jorgensen, you're falsely accusing me. The color I almost never play is actually white. I actually love blue
That's what he
decks.
says. He says mountain, swamps, and forests, and this is a deck you
Oh,
see me
okay.
playing.
Yeah, but that deck has white.
So we wouldn't actually see you playing it, just
No,
an
I
alter ego of you
No,
would
I just-
want to play it.
I just play it by myself in dark closets.
You test Jund against it to see how the rogue deck would work.
See, what you guys don't know is I don't actually play Jund. I just goldfish it for a while, and it makes me look like I know what I'm doing. Yes, white is good. It's not typically my play style. Usually, if I'm playing a white deck, I don't know. It just has pretty much every deck I've played with white has a tempo to them
Yeah.
that I don't love. However, I think pretty soon here I'm gonna jump on a Deathblade deck or a Stoneblade deck, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna mess with those, but
So Jeremy went down to 5 cards, and he's on the play. He's got to keep this hand. I'm pretty sure he's got. It looks like a Probe, a Force, a Misty, a Blighted Agent, and a Pump Spell. Deathrite comes down right away for Calvin.
where's the glitter fan?
We did. There was something about a fan of glitter, right?
I do not
We were-
recall.
last week. Sorry, guys. Everybody was in Vegas. Nobody followed up on any of the promises. No promises. I mean, we did get rid of Brian, so he's not actively messing up everything midstream. But
If you haven't noticed, we've actually only left our chairs to go and get more information about the match. If any of you were tuned in last week, you know that it was not like that. Oh, this is Electrickery.
yeah, that's a nice sideboard card. Yeah, we had a helicopter. There was things happening.
Oh, the helicopter. I remember that.
And we had a not cube is what we had.
Yeah, don't remind me. I'm still really upset about it, all right?
So do we have a day when we are going to cube?
We can. I do want to plan a new day. I do want to stream it, it's something that I feel passionately
Yeah,
about.
when you build a cube, you want to play it occasionally.
I
Right?
brought it today. Like, if it worked today, we could do it.
Ooh.
But I didn't plan it with anybody, so chances of that happening is probably like 0.
But
I
I'm
even-
not going to make any promises because I was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
sure it was going to happen last week. And
Right.
Calvin's-
The point is it's going to happen at some point. So if you want to watch the stream while we cube, you just have to tune in every week until it happens. Sorry.
for the
right?
whole thing, because we might
Right. we-
just suddenly start cubing at any moment.
at any moment, and you don't want to miss it.
That's awesome. So it looks like Jeremy's Moldified here has not found him a second land, unfortunately.
And I'm staring down the wasteland on the other side. Not feeling good.
Yeah, and I think if you're Calvin here, you just pull that trigger right now.
I think I would have.
Yeah,
I'm actually really confused as to why it's still there.
he's being a nice guy, I guess. Yeah, it's not gonna work.
It is
Jeremy, where's the
not.
other land? He even had a probe effect. So Calvin waited a turn to see if I don't know why he waited.
So I do see 2 Force of Wills in Jeremy's hand. So even though he has no lands, he'll be able to interact a little bit. But at this point, with the board state the way it is, I imagine Delver's going to take this one away in.
Delver hasn't flipped yet, so it's a little slower than. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I'd say, well, at this point, I'd probably
Now
say
he can
about
just
3
attack with
turns.
3 power if he wants to. That's all he needs
Yeah.
to do, right? So, as soon as this one gets a little bit more wrapped up, we can bounce back to
Calvin is a
whatever was
nice
happening.
guy. I've gotten to interact with him a couple times. He is an awesome person.
So maybe we can just bounce back over to this game now.
Yeah, sure.
I'm pretty sure Calvin's gonna wrap this up. So here's our. Ooh, sorry guys, little jolt there.
Sultai Delver.
And somebody won game 1. Not sure who.
I do think it was Sultai Delver,
Okay,
from what I saw.
and we can put up. That's a word. Right there. Zombie bomber.
We don't know who's playing it, but it's that.
I
think Jorgensen was calling it a zombardment deck.
It's way more fun. Yeah, zombardment. Zombie
Zom-
bombardment. Okay, I will change it. It's shorter.
Bryce is like, the more letters, the better.
That's still really long.
It's kind of awesome.
I'll try.
No, that's zombombardment. It's just zombard.
You just keep making me erase things. Goodness.
Hey, if I'm not picky, then who will
Right, Brian. As soon as he steps
be? Brian and
Okay.
all of chat.
yeah. So we see the Bloodghast, right, doing its thing. It gets to come back. If an opponent has 10 or less life, it has haste, but it gets to come back
Yes.
whenever he has landfall. And you can see he's got this really nice little fetch land right there.
Wow, I really, really want to see a Bloodghast with haste with Grafted Wargear in play. This is something.
A Jitte that he gets to do things with. There's a nice,
Oh, we
very
got a
glared
good
car.
glare.
some sort of removal, maybe a
Looked like a fatal
fatal
push.
push. Yeah, Grafted Wargear, right, in a deck, and it's like, not. This isn't just some. This is a list. I've pulled it off of Goldfish.
Mhm.
I think I can.
There is a one of in that deck in the list. Oh yeah,
I can go like this for you guys if you want to see it.
yeah.
I think that works as a link.
Yeah, Grafted Wargear. Guys, if you have not played with this card, it is in my cube, and it should be in all cubes, because this card is incredible in cube. Like, it is really awesome.
You get a Force Revolt that way if you need to. So, oh yeah, we'll just equip that for free, and we'll equip this one
Mm,
for
for two.
and smash.
All right, 2 mana, attacking for 5 with Jitte on it.
Yeah.
No big deal. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
and,
whatever.
Oh, and this creature that you had already killed once, it came back.
Yeah.
Lingering Souls.
Wow, this is okay.
Ooh, an
This-
invasive surgery.
Invasive surgery.
Taking care of Lingering Souls, and
And
does
it
he
looks.
he gets to find another one in hand.
He does get one in
Ooh.
hand.
Ooh, invasive surgery is a card I've been kind of meaning to pick
Wow,
up in foil
alright.
right now because now's the time to pick them up in
Yeah,
foil.
probably.
And-
Yeah, they're available.
Right? And
They won't be
it's-
later.
Yeah, eventually
Yeah.
it'll slowly creep up.
Mhm.
It's not going to happen anytime soon, but it's wow. He had one in hand. He took out a Lingering Souls buying back and the one in hand.
Even still, though, just look at this. Look at this board state for the Zombardment deck. I mean, Faithless Looting. We're gonna find lands.
Right.
You know, like
Yep.
you Faithless Looting once, you Faithless Looting twice. Like, yeah,
Yeah, Ray
Su-
says I've got a
so-
daze and some lands.
so hard to interact.
So
with.
that looks like some Barman took that down, right? That was a handshake.
I am really
So
excited to
that
see
was-
this deck
that was
again.
Either game 2 or 3 probably there. And there's the is that a Living Death? No, what is that? Is that a Living Death? So it looks like his sideboard alters a little bit from this list.
Sure, it looks like he's made some changes.
But
for
most of the main deck looks to
two,
be there.
Two Grave Pact. Oh, so cool.
I'm not 100% sure if that's a Living Death or not.
The bottom card.
Yeah,
That is not a Living Death.
with the original art.
Yeah, that's definitely not.
It
Living
just
Death.
it looked similar to the art.
Hmm.
No, it's not.
No, I don't.
Let's all turn our heads sideways and whoever can tell me, oh, it's gone.
I'm sure there's somebody in chat who knows the card.
Instantly.
Guys, help us
let's see,
out.
let's look at this sideboard and see what it could have been.
I don't think it's in this sideboard.
Oh, there it is.
Is it?
Urborg Justice.
Urborg Justice.
How about this? I'll pull it up. Here, let's see if we can pull it up this way. No, let's pull it up this way.
I can honestly say I have not heard of this card.
From
I-
Weatherlight, I believe.
I've probably had it played against me, and I still don't know what it does.
There we go.
Target opponent chooses and buries a number of creatures he or she controls equal to the number of creatures put in your graveyard from play so far this turn. That
So,
wording, though.
It's an instant speed Grave Pack, pretty much, right? Whoa. There we go. Still up. There it is. Sorry, guys. Oh. I lost it
Yeah,
again.
so you make them sacrifice essentially. You're targeting the opponent, and the opponent chooses creatures they control equal to the number of creatures you put it or creatures just
So-
total creatures that have gone to the graveyard this
Yeah,
turn.
yeah. And so you play after you've sacrificed something.
Yeah, you sacrifice a thing or two.
yeah.
You could wipe their whole board.
Yeah, and they have to sacrifice. They have to sacrifice 2 creatures. They don't get destroyed. So it's a way to actually handle a True Name Nemesis, right?
Or any big
Yeah,
threat like
yeah.
show and tell creatures, reanimate creatures, those big things that a lot of things like Fatal Push and
Yeah.
other removal spells just don't quite
That's
hit.
fantastic.
It actually looks quite good in this deck.
It's so Grave Pact is main deck, and that's a 4-mana enchantment,
Yes.
right? Which has the same effect. It's as soon as you
Hmm.
as soon as any creature you control goes into a graveyard, each other player has to sack. So same effect, but this one at 2-mana instant speed.
Instant speed.
Pretty interesting deck, right?
Yeah.
And this is an affordable deck. This thing is what, 1,400 total, and most of that's in. So it plays a couple Badlands, a couple Scrublands, and a Bayou, right? That's
If you
500 of the deck.
Yeah, if you already have your lands, this deck is quite cheap. Like looking at it, 2 Bitter Blossom, that's $60 on Goldfish.
So
and
you've
then-
got Bloodghast.
yeah.
Four of Bloodghast that have been creeping up. You
Mhm.
know.
And
in
then
price.
2 Thoughtseize, and I'm sure you have those if you're playing Legacy, so I would assume so. Yeah,
It's
just
an interesting deck for sure.
just all the values in the mana base.
So we'll see if we can see this another round.
I'll see what I can do. I'll text my friend Patrick and be like, "Hey, we want to see this deck again at some point."
So I'm gonna jump and see how much time is left in the round.
Alright,
'Cause
awesome.
both those matches ended pretty quickly.
Yeah, they really did. All right, 2 mana Wrath, exactly. It's almost like a temporary Grave Pact where it's just working for 1 turn. But I mean, Grave Pact's gonna be good over the long game. But this card's just gonna blow your opponent out in 1 turn, which I actually kind of like because you get these Delver decks, or you get, other creature style decks that have they want like multiple creatures on the board, 2, 3 creatures, and this Zombardment deck, it's gonna get 3 creatures. That's what it's designed to do. It's supposed to put in a couple little guys, and next thing you know, you're just wrathing your opponent's board, and you didn't lose anything because you're just gonna revolt and get your guys back, and you have Bitter Blossom to help out with that as well.
It's pretty awesome to see a deck that doesn't play blue but is able to do the same thing with Faceless Looting, right? Get the same card advantage.
Yeah.
So that was Larry piloting that deck.
Yeah, I'm building this deck too. That's exactly my thought. I'm like, this deck is just all kinds of spicy.
Yeah. We've got 15 minutes left in round 2. We've
Okay.
got at least 2 matches still being played. So we've got a little bit of time here to ooh and ah over this deck a little longer, right?
I was just going to say, I'm like, I want to talk about this deck.
And what's awesome about Legacy, right, is a deck like this, a lot of people have no idea what it is at first, right? I sat down, and my opponent is playing Bloodghast, right? And I'm going, okay, this is some cool rogue build that he's Bloodghasting. That's cool. And then suddenly Goblin Bombardment comes down, and I just lose, right? I couldn't beat it because at that stage, I was worried about how I was going to deal with a Bloodghast attack for the next couple turns, even though I was able to pressure it and keep it off or whatever. And then he's able to put a couple fetch lands out and go, oh, Bloodghast, Bombardment, fetch, Goblin Bombardment, fetch, right? And just chain together the other 6 or 7 damage you needed to get through.
Looking at this deck, I'm actually somewhat surprised that there are no Stoneforge.
Sure.
Not that this is a Stoneforge deck. I just feel like
As a
1 or
alternative.
like 2 Stoneforge would be awesome to go and find your Jit or go and get your Grafted War Gear.
Well, you can get them with Enlightened Tutor, can't you? Yeah, you can go find them
Is
way.
that better? Is that
I
better
mean, it
than
puts it on top of your library, right? So it's slower,
Sure.
but
But like, don't you kind of want the creatures in this deck? I mean, once Stoneforge hits, Grafted War Gear and Umezawa's Jitte, they're cheap cards. You don't need to cheat them in off of Stoneforge
No.
in this deck.
No,
I just feel like having the body would be a little better than the Enlightened Tutor, but guys, I'm not a deck builder, all right?
well, and
I
often,
just have ideas.
Often you're gonna go get a Hidden Stockpile or a Bitter Blossom first, right?
Oh, that's true. It gets either.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all right. That makes sense. See, this is why we
So,
have people like Bryce.
I did just post a version. The link, the tiny URL. Were you guys able to see that list? Back in chat, if you scroll back into chat.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it should be like a Stoneforge deck, but I mean, Bryce kind of threw my idea away. Yeah, Enlightened Tutor can get all the enchantments too. I didn't really.
And I think this
Catch
one is
that.
a pretty tight list. I don't
It
think
is.
there's many cards you can alter from this.
Probably not.
The Contamination is kind of an interesting one of. It allows you to add more black. If you just can't join, okay, I'll repost it here. So this one's just on Goldfish. I just okay, you've got it, Jorgensen. Thanks. I think I just Googled. What did I Google?
I think you said
Goblin Bombardment or something.
Goblin
and
Bombardment.
Legacy, and
Oh no.
found it pretty
You
quick.
did Hidden Stockpile
Hidden
Legacy.
Stockpile Legacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if this was a hidden stockpile.
Yeah, he
list
was-
without bombardment.
Yeah, we were able to find it on MTG Goldfish. So.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how to
Who was
find it.
saying that though? But yeah, Mr. Gator, you're right. Like Stoneforge probably does go a little away from the game plan, but at the same time, it could get Grafted War Gear, which really sticks on the game plan. Like, I think Grafted War Gear is amazing in a deck like this.
Here we go. You're right. You guys can't
Oh,
post
yeah,
when we
that's
can.
right.
Silliness. We get to see your links.
Thanks anyway.
If you
Jorgensen.
guys ever
We
want to
see
share
it.
a link with us, you can post it to us and we see it.
Yes.
And then we can read. So here's the tiny URL that takes you to the list. I was actually surprised to see, and I'm curious how this played out. During the GP, the coverage was, some of the coverage team was great, some of the coverage was so-so, right? But they showed Goldfish the lists as if we were watching. How do we do this here?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. No, you go to
The
visual view.
The visual view
Yes.
lists, they were showing those, and they were showing Goldfish's deck lists as well, like when they're streaming, as a
Yeah.
way of showing cards. I'm really curious how that worked, but they actually had the little goldfish symbol down in the corner like they do. And
Maybe
with
Goldfish
this
is
little-
figured out a deal with Wizards to get some more publicity, as if it needed more.
Right. But I mean, and they have a nice way of showing lists,
Yeah,
really cleanly and really quickly.
It looks really good.
But I was surprised that we need to put Ian on camera with just a camera of him, not his deck and not his play, but just his face. He could just look up at the camera. I believe Ian is here, and I can't confirm or deny, but he might not have as much of a beard as he once had. It is about 155 degrees outside, so if I had a beard, I would be tempted to shave it as well.
Speaking of super hotness, Vegas, guys, it was 115 like the whole weekend. So bad. And then we come back up to Utah and it's like 100 today. And guess what? It doesn't feel all that different. It's still just really hot.
All right, I will.
Oh, I didn't see the ensnaring bridge on the sideboard. That's cool too. Because all your creatures are 1/1s.
Yeah.
So
And-
awesome.
And you can just go with a bombardment plan, right? You don't even need to
Yeah.
attack. Let's see if we can get another matchup here going here.
Awesome. While he does that, I'm going to continue looking at this list because I'm fascinated by it. Really, I just want to play Grafted Wargear. I know that's like a silly reason to want to play this, but I'm also in love with Grave Pact and Bloodghast, so what can you do? Yeah, you live in Phoenix? Oh, man. I have family there, so I've been there. Summer is indoor weather. Let's be real. Oh my goodness, 118. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I'd be a hermit, Jorgensen. You'd never see me. I wouldn't even make it out. I wouldn't even make it out to my local store to jump on stream. No way. Just play Wargear Stompy. All right, you've intrigued me. What's Wargear Stompy?
It doesn't matter what it is. You can play Dragon Stompy without Stompy or Dragons.
Without
right?
dragons.
Right.
I can play. So is this Wargear Stompy deck? Is it just a Stompy deck but no Wargear? Is that what's going on? Are you just messing with me?
So we've still got 8-9 minutes left.
Oh my goodness. Jorgensen, that's horrible. Why are you even there? Please, I need an explanation.
And we've still got 3 or 4 matches going. We've got Mono Black Stompy. Is that 8 Soul Lands?
Yeah,
This is Wargear.
Oh, green Stompy with Wargear. All right. 8 Soul Lands, lock pieces, Wargear. Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, you can't play Stompy anything, for sure.
I'm going to play Delver Stompy. Here we go. This is definitely not the
No,
list
that is
that
not what
you're
we're looking
thinking
for.
of here. It's kind of funny, some of the things. No, we're not playing Modern. No, sorry. Slow websites. Here we go. There. Maybe.
And work has kept you there? Ugh. Well, I hope you have a good job, because I hope that there's enough there to make it worth it, because I just can't even imagine. I've known people in my life that are like, yeah, I can't wait until, like when I was in like high school and whatnot, they'd be like, yeah, I can't wait till I turn 18 and graduate so I can move down to Phoenix where it's always nice weather. And I'm going, oh my goodness, have you ever been there? It's not nice weather. I don't think you understand what nice weather really is.
Boo, no results found. Yeah, I'm headed down to St. George here just this weekend. And I don't know why I'm doing that.
I lived there for a year.
Yeah.
It is not pleasant.
Well, and especially this week, right?
Ugh.
It's going to be silly hot. But we're just going to go swimming on this.
Yeah, and when in hot places, guys, people get frustrated easier. Like they're short-tempered. Like you walk in somewhere and you're just already pissed because nothing has gone your way. You jump in your car and your back's already like sweating. You have to like wait for it to cool, like your AC to kick in. It's terrible. Just avoid it.
Avoid it. Just don't go further
Just don't.
south.
Just don't go outside. Just don't. Even, if you live in these areas, do not go outside. It's not worth your time. Ugh. Systems engineering. All right. Awesome.
Bum, bum, bum. This is not the page.
Yeah, I believe it. Well, since you guys are from not here, I'll let you know. Utah, we get the best of both worlds. It's not extreme on either end. It's never way too hot. We only have a couple days in the year that it breaks 100, right?
Usually, yeah.
Usually just a couple days. It's like kind of a 2-week span in July that we'll get some really hot days, and then in the winter, I mean, we have some cold days, but really they don't feel all that different than any other cold days. It's not like Canada, where you like walk outside with like boiling water, throw it, and it's like ice by the time it hits the ground. But it's in Utah. All right, whatever.
There's that.
I admit there are some bad things about Utah, but as far as weather goes, it is really nice here. All right, what are we pulling up?
I thought I'd take a peek at some of the art of these
Sweet.
cards.
I would love to look at them too.
Some of them, the art is amazing. So, real quick, we're just going to throw some art at you guys.
Yeah, but you live in Boston. Stood on to.
So, the new full art lands for the next set have the sun instead of just off of the Bolas horns. It's right in the middle, right? And that's the hour, right?
All right.
Which is pretty cool. In a lot of these, it becomes a little too much. It just keeps happening.
Yeah,
right?
It's in like every card.
But and then we've got these same blue cards where something's happening and it's blue shaded, right? But let's see if I can. I'm on the wrong page to show you guys this.
Game TM. It sounds like you went through South Utah, because if you've ever made it up to the Salt Lake area, it is still technically a desert, but it's actually quite green. North Utah is absolutely beautiful, and we also get the best snow on Earth, or at least that's what they tell us. I've been skiing a lot, so I guess I would know a little bit about it, but it really is gorgeous in North Utah.
See if we can show one at a time here. Yeah, that'll work. Maybe. Okay, we're back. Maybe. Okay.
Do some scrolling.
So, yeah, I'm gonna try and show some. So this card, the Omniscience.
The art.
Whoa.
Hello.
This is one of those cards that, could you imagine if instead of with this funky border and the weird text and all of that, this was just like a full art, like a game day promo type of thing or something going on.
Or on a mat, or...
It definitely will be on a mat.
I'm sure it will.
But holy cow, it's beautiful. And the darkness and the lack of blue in the art, it kind of gets taken away because of the...
It looks like a black card, and it's just a blue card.
Yeah.
I really like this Omniscience.
Yeah, so we'll keep going. This Opposition, right here. Again, the art is kind of like old school Wrath of God, right?
Yeah.
The original beta Wrath of God, except with a little bit more
it's chaotic
range of color and stuff. And just, it's fantastic. But yeah, I agree. The borders they look better in person. How about that? Mm-hmm. For sure. But some of this art feels wasted, right?
I agree.
Oh man, would be amazing if this was on a regular frame even, so that the art becomes the focus.
There are a couple invocations where I feel like the frame works well on it, mm-hmm. but I think typically they don't.
Yeah, this Sunder, for example, it's fine.
I like it.
It works. Yeah. It looks like you're looking through a scene and you're seeing out a window, right?
Yeah.
And so you're actually seeing something happening in the landscape. It works for me, but it's also Sunder, right? Like, okay. Threads of Disloyalty was kind of great.
Oh, that art, I actually really love this art.
Winter and Road Construction. Yes, I like the Entube from the original as well. Again, here's this card that looks black, right? It looks like a black card, and I gotta look.
Tojem says Utah only has 2 seasons: winter and road construction.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen a little bit of road construction in winter now too.
That is factual. Yeah, we do get a lot of that. Yeah, this is a weird one to print, in my opinion. Although the art is super interesting, with the border, I feel like there's the art is less of the card.
Yeah. Yep.
And when you get scroll back up to the Avatar of Woe real quick. Look how small the focus point is in this art.
Yep.
It is.
And this one I think actually works. But here's another one that I wouldn't particularly want to own.
No,
Right.
I mean, what do you need an Avatar of
Yeah.
Woe for?
Damnation is pretty good. It's kind of great that they did reprint Damnation again.
Yeah,
Right?
and people have been calling for it for a while. So I'm.
Well, I mean, it was just reprinted, right?
Yeah.
But I think they should just, in every set, reprint Damnation. It could be in the next Iconic Masters. It could be in the next standard set. I think they should just troll us forever and just keep reprinting
it. Like we've been holding off. Okay, guys, Desolation Angel. I love this card.
And this one works with the frame, right? The
Yeah,
gold
it
in the
re-
art,
oh,
along with the
yeah.
gold along the top and the bottom.
Oh, it is so
It's
cool.
fantastic. It's great. But again, this is a $20 to $30 masterpiece, not a $150.
It may even be less. It might be up there just because it is
'Cause it's
somewhat
pretty.
iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a cool card. All
This
right.
is a pretty cool edict.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah.
It's this guy just standing over this body is fantastic.
Here-
You just put it into FTV transform. There you go. Yeah. So you just put it in every set possible. Just keep printing Damnation until it's like a $2 card.
And when people question them, Damnation doesn't transform, and Wizards just no comment. just don't worry about it.
Okay, Doomsday. Here's a
Yes.
flavor win, right? It's
Yeah.
awesome. How many people were wanting a Doomsday reprint? Yeah, I mean, now it's a foil, I guess, a somewhat foil reprint.
Yeah, I mean there wasn't a foil version before, and now there
Yeah,
is. So all those people who have just never been able to let go of the Doomsday deck, now they now have foils to get.
No Mercy, okay, sure. I'm sure somebody plays this in Commander somewhere.
Yeah, I don't love this one. I mean, if you do play it in Commander, sure, but the art is mediocre.
And if you do play it in Commander, you're probably wrong. It's probably wrong.
If you play anything in Commander, you're probably just wrong. If you play
Slaughterpact.
Commander, you're probably wrong.
This one I like. This one's
Yes.
great. This one's great.
This is what I need for my cube, so send them my way, guys.
Yeah.
This one's sweet.
And this is one where the art matches the frame, right? It begins to work together.
Yes.
So that instead of it being like, hey, this really cool art is being minimized, it's like, hey, it's part of one thing.
And it's so interesting because last time it was printed, they put that little black spot on the card to show that it's black.
Yeah.
This time around, we actually have a skull there, if you guys can see it.
Where are we looking?
On to the left of where it says instant.
Oh, interesting. There is. Well, this is a Slaughter Pact, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Slaughter Pact itself, every other card doesn't have that, right?
Well,
Because
no,
Slaughter.
what I was saying is the last time that they've done that, they've had a little circle there,
Oh,
and it's just
there was a
colored.
little black, and
yeah,
then
it's
now
just,
it's
just
now
a colored
yeah.
spot, and on this one they actually put a skull.
That's great. I
Yeah.
actually hadn't noticed that detail. That's great.
Yeah, really cool.
And Thoughtseize. Here's the money card from the set, right? This thing is going to be at least start out at $200. Even though now, okay,
so good
a lot of
looking.
people don't like the frame, right? But this is another one that I think it actually works.
I do.
This type of art, I think, works with this frame pretty well.
Yeah, it really looks good. I'm liking this one.
All right, and we've got a Blood Moon.
I mean, if you don't like the art on this card, you're just crazy. It's so good looking. The frame does ruin this one though.
Yep. It's all right.
It's not the
I
worst
can
of the
get on board
worst.
with this one.
It's not the worst of the worst, but it's definitely not the best.
We saw like next to no red masterpieces in the first go around, right?
I think we had Aggravated Assault.
Yeah, a card that nobody wants, right? And,
Yeah.
and the Red God, or
And the
something
Red
like
God,
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And this one's fantastic. I like the way
Yeah, and then we
the
get
red-
some more land destruction ones. So we go down and we're gonna see Boil.
Boil again,
Now-
flavor. Okay.
Now this one I like with the border.
Yeah. Yep. Again, both this and Blood Moon, they start to work, right?
Yeah, they do.
But it's because it's such the Hour of Devastation artwork, the Bolas horns and everything like that. So Legacy, we've got just a couple minutes left in round 2. I just was filling some time here. We even had a backup match go, and I think some games went to time. I'll let you keep scrolling,
Sure,
and
sure.
I'll double check how much time we got.
Awesome. All right. Continuing our scroll, we've got Shatterstorm, which Having trouble getting that exactly on, but that's all right. So this is this one does not. I do not like this one at all. Honestly, there are a couple other Shatterstorms in existence, and they just look much better than this one. The frame does not match any of the colors on the art, and just doesn't look good. But I like seeing stuff like Shatterstorm though, because let's face it, who hasn't cast a Shatterstorm against Affinity player in Modern? It feels good, guys. All right, Through the Breach. This is one that needed a reprint, and I'm a little surprised to see that this is where it came. It's a complicated. It doesn't explain Splice to Arcane on the card, which is a little odd because Splice to Arcane is so exclusive to where it was from, and it really is a lot of words. But I don't hate this one. And in fact, I'll probably be looking to pick at least one of these up. I like it more than most. The flavor is definitely there. And then you've got Choke. So more land interaction here. This one's really awesome looking. Instant Arcane looks funny in Sandruin, sorry. Yeah, it really does. We have, alright, so now we have an Arcane spell that's on Amonkhet. Alright. Explain that one to me, wizards. Yeah, typically they only do the reminder text in the set that they're printed in, but I think Splice to Arcane is a weird one not to. It's quite wordy. It's not all that straightforward either. If you've never used Splice into Arcane before, it's not going to be easy to remember on a card. Not only that, but like even if you have used Splice into Arcane, you probably haven't done it very much unless you were playing a lot of Limited at the time. But no, I didn't expect it to have its parentheses wording in there. All right, yeah. So Choke, I really like this one. This one is awesome. Not only that, but like I don't think there are a lot of green cards that came in the last Invocation set. Yeah, the font is terrible. I mean, they put it in all caps, and they're trying to make it big so you can see it. Not only that, but all the text on these cards, they're centered. I find that really odd. But you know, they wanted to change the style of the set, so not too surprising that it's different. It's just how are you going to put all caps in that much reminder text on a card like Through the Breach?
All right.
Finally,
we had a game go to turns, and it took a little while.
So we went through Shatterstorm,
Okay.
and I was discussing that one's art is just meh and doesn't really go with the border.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we're gonna switch some stuff up. Oh, we're getting started.
Yeah, we're gonna get some
sweet.
Magic getting played here.
All right, we'll go back to those. I'm sure that other people want to see them and other people want to talk about them.
John was playing. We saw his deck earlier.
I'm probably gonna need to see the first card to remember.
All right, so we've got Larry again, and he specifically asked not to call it Zombie Bombardment.
Okay, and what?
Because it has no zombies.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't. That's true. We have 4 Deathrite Shaman and 4 Bloodghast. No zombies. All right, and we have servos and fairies.
John is playing the Deathblade with, or Stoneblade with the birds, the freaking
Oh
birds.
yeah. This is Cobblade.
Yeah, Cobblade. Here we go. Sorry, typing and trying to say something out loud.
No worries. All right, yeah. Let's get to this match. This one's an interesting one, right?
It should be interesting. So here we are on round 3. I'm pretty sure we're playing 4 rounds this Tuesday.
Yes.
And we're gonna have a match here. Okay, so if you guys haven't seen this list, I posted a link to it. I can do that again if you need it. It's kind of spicy. Let's see how it plays out against. an almost tier 1 deck, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all it really is. It's just a Stoneforge Mystic deck, and he's added 4 Squadron Hawk. It's
Right.
not.
And maybe some back to basics. Main. I'm not sure if they're still main or not.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's something particularly
Oh,
new.
I
He
got-
just
I got
has a
him
newer
switched.
card in it.
We got them switched. We'll switch
Oh,
these
boy.
around. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. Larry's on your left. John playing this Squadron Hawk Stoneblade deck is on your right. With really big name. Whoa, whoa. There we go.
Oh, boy.
Okay. So Larry's going to start off with a Cataxian Probe and a Thoughtseize. Take that. And you can see his hand. He's got the Faithless Lootings. I'm not sure if he has a red source for him.
Raceland, bring your comment back up when we start talking about those cards again, because I wouldn't mind talking about that after the match.
The lack of green on a green card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just doesn't look like a green card. Wouldn't mind bringing that back up for sure.
Yeah, we'll have a little bit more time probably after. We also, as our backup match, we have Calvin, who is playing the
Grixis Delver.
Grixis Delver, and he's playing against
We don't know yet.
a deck.
A deck.
It's a really cool playmat.
Yeah, it's the force. That's the Force of Will playmat that was
Yeah.
for the Legacy event.
Ah,
I did manage to pick one up for me. In fact, I got one of each.
was it just for entry? You got
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, they did the Invocation Force of Will, the Invocation Vindicate, and the Invocation Maelstrom Pulse. And then if you did all 3, then you got the Ancestral Recall mat.
Interesting.
And it
The-
is
the new
gorgeous.
art?
No, the
Like
old.
Oh, cool.
And it looks great, and like apparently they were buying them for like $50 there at the
Ooh.
event. They didn't make a lot of them, so I'm pretty happy to own one.
So he's able to Cabal Therapy and Faithless Loot. So he was able to get rid of a Stifle. I'm kind of interested. Why get rid? I guess
Why
he
stuff?
doesn't care about Squadron Hawk or Swords to Plowshares, so might as well just get rid of Stifle.
Yeah, and he's stripped his opponent quite a bit, and just based on the fact that we know he has a Bitter Blossom, this Squadron Hawk look does not look,
Right.
does not look like anything special at all. And this is probably the right play by him. Just get rid of a land, hope that he
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
does, and he
okay,
does have.
so it makes sense to get rid of Stifle because he's got fetch lands in hand,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Then that totally is the correct play.
Yeah, he wants to be able to.
Yeah, and
Make his land drops.
Bitter Blossom comes down here, right? So
Yes.
Larry said, so this is the Zombie Bombardment deck, right? Where'd it go? We lost it forever.
Forever
It's
and ever
gone.
and ever.
I pulled it up right here. Okay.
Alright.
So it doesn't have any zombies in it, right? It's got Vampire Spirits. It's got Hidden Stockpile, which makes Servos. It's got Bitter Blossom, which makes fairies, and it has Lingering Souls. So
So we have an elf shaman, we have a vampire, we've got spirits, we've got fairy rogues, and servos. But guys, it's a zombardment deck. Zombies, all right?
Larry was pretty adamant. Not zombie. Not calling it that. Nope.
Fair enough. I think that's a good reason to not call it zombie less ardment.
So I think there is a version that plays a zombie bombardment deck. This is just a very different build.
Yeah.
And
Maybe the modern version plays more zombies.
I think it was a legacy deck that
Was
I
it?
saw
Okay.
that I played against, and where they landed bombardment, and I went with a zombie.
All right. Am
Doesn't matter which.
I the only person who feels like this is just two old standard formats clashing right here?
Bitter Blossom versus Squadron Hawk. Here we go.
All right. That'll change things up. We've got a Deathray Shaman.
Spirit bombardment doesn't.
And
I guess.
I think that this is a good deck to pull up to show just how good Deathrite Shaman is in Legacy. I mean, if you look at this list, everything is so synergetic, everything works together so well, and yet you look at Deathrite Shaman and you're like, well, this doesn't really work anything, but
It's good. It's a good card.
but it looks great in this deck.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah, you get to excel. You get to
Yeah.
do things you want to do. It works
Yeah, and-
along getting wastelanded or whatever else you need to do.
and it can interact with the opponent's strategy as well.
Right. Okay, so John swords to plowshares the Deathrite and swings for 1. Take that. Squadron Hawk in for the beats.
And then we've got our Enlightened Tutor.
So what do you get right here?
What do I get?
You've got fairies being made. He's looking at the contamination for a moment.
I think you get the hidden stockpile from here.
You can take...
I think this is when you want to get your engine going. So I think I'd be tempted to put the
Yeah, that's exactly. Jorgensen, that was exactly my train of thought as well. There's that zombie, the one that you can.
Oh, are you thinking Gravecrawler?
Gravecrawler, along with the zombie infestation, where you can discard 2 cards to make a 2/2.
Okay,
zombie.
Yep.
Right. So that's where the name comes from.
I beat chat to it. I got it. Seconds later, Game Team comes in and Gravecrawler. All right. We're 1-1, chat.
It's a lot harder to come up with card names when you're commentating on a game. It's amazing how often I blank on a card. I just go, the card that I know of.
Yeah, I'm not gonna correct your spelling, Game Team. I don't care about that. I understood. No worries.
So he's got the hidden stockpile in hand.
Yes.
And he chose to play instead the Bloodghast. He went and tutored for the stockpile. It's not in play though.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay.
All right.
That's a nice draw. I'll take that off the top.
Yeah.
I said it before you. Take that.
Hey, I said it before it came up, though. I still win. Just because you have a 60-second delay doesn't make my victory any less. All right. That seems like a personal problem.
So we've got a couple fairy tokens out in play here. And now things get a little bit more interesting. What do you do against a Jitte? You can Cabal Therapy something.
I mean, he's got perfect information. He can see that he has a Snapcaster Mage. I mean, I think that is something that I would want to get rid of. This is.
Yeah, here's kind of one where you're picking to play that over the hidden stockpile. I guess stockpile may have just gotten countered though.
It's like off to the side.
Yeah,
I'm kind of confused.
I'm pretty sure it's still in his hand.
It's still in his hand.
Yeah, I think it's just revealed along with like the Force of Will.
Sure.
So and then he's gonna flashback therapy to take out the Force of Will.
Take out the Force. So he's empty-handed, but he has a Jitte and a Flyer. So he's gonna lose the Squadron Hawk on the first hit. But if John is able to find a creature to back this up, it could be really, really strong. I can't imagine this bombardment deck being very good against Jitte.
Well, and I think the other 2 squad Hawks got therapied out, right?
I think so.
By the first therapy? No, not the first therapy flashbacked.
Yeah, I think so.
So the second time it was cast. Which probably doesn't feel good, right? I'm going to go get all this card advantage and then lose all this. Ooh! Okay, so he swords a fairy so that his Hawk lives and gets counters.
Yeah, this is big.
Right,
I mean,
so Larry's going to go down to life to some number of it's not a spin down dice. There we go. He's at 10. And he's got a Bitter Blossom, so.
All right, and here's our hidden stockpile. Now this is not looking good. The Jitte is able to
he's
start piecing.
Take 2. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think so. I think you want to keep as many counters as you can. If you end up needing to gain life later, then.
Yep, he can just. I mean, here he is only smashing for 1, but 1 plus a Bitter Blossom. That's a clock.
Something to note as well. You're going to want to use the Jitte on your turn. That way, the hidden stockpile doesn't trigger.
Yeah.
Because the hidden stockpile only triggers during your turn.
Right. Which he's able to do there.
All right, get a fairy.
Go down to 8 life.
And this.
So a Jitte off the top. Oh, did Larry just draw his own Jitte?
He did draw his own
It's going to be a little late.
It is too late. That's frustrating.
So he's got main deck. He's got Gravepack. That's not going to help him here.
Oh, he has the Arcade Post Haunters. Oh, I'm so jealous. I actually picked up the whole Pokemon package from Arcade Post while I was in Vegas, and once I found the Haunters, I was super sad I didn't get more. So
they're awesome tokens.
They're so cool. I mean, they're gonna die here real bad.
So he's going to choose to triple block. Interesting.
I mean, don't you just pump twice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how this is going to work for him.
At this point, it's kind of Goblin Bombardment or bust, right?
Yeah.
Or does that even do it?
It
Grave Pact would
help.
be good, but he's too far off.
Yep. I think the timing on Jitte just was perfect. So here he can actually respond and sacrifice his guy to Scry. Okay.
Yeah, we got
So
it.
he's using hidden stockpiles. Sacrifice a creature to Scry 1. And he puts that on the bottom. I'm not even sure what he's digging for here. He has 0 removal. Right? And
And we got a Council's Judgment.
should have blocked. So he didn't get a chance to block. John tried to kill it with a Jitte counter
Yeah.
before he attacks.
Yeah, and the first attack was denied by a Swords to Plowshare.
we get a
Caw-caw.
squadron. All right, take that. So Squadron Hawk takes down a win. Now both of these players are 2-0 right now.
Yeah.
We've got this bombardment, Spirit Bombardment, and Stoneblade with Squadron Hawks. Getting it done. Let's see what's going on, if we can see what's happening. Looks like we just ended game 1 in our second match
We
as
still
well.
don't know what's going on in the second match. That's great.
Uh-oh. There we go.
The servo I don't believe the servo blocked the Hawk.
I don't think a servo was ever made.
Yeah, he only had flyers off the Bitter Blossom.
Bitter Blossom, and then he flashed back a Lingering Souls at one
Yeah.
point. So that's why we saw the 2 different tokens. We saw 2 spirits off of a flashback Lingering Souls.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Champagne, welcome.
So we're just gonna hang out here in our awesome mulliganing and shuffling mode. Yeah, I was confused at first when I saw it too.
Mhm.
I didn't see where those other tokens came from. So his sideboard. I asked him what the Urborg Justice came in against, and Larry said, this is the second time I've played this deck, but it would be appropriate here, right?
Yeah,
It would be great.
I believe so. I think in general it's just against creature decks.
Yeah.
I can't.
Anything that has a creature, this would be a great removal spell. The deck doesn't play, the list doesn't have any Swords to Plowshares,
Mhm.
it doesn't have any fatal pushes or anything like that
Yeah.
in main deck.
Yeah, Champagne. That is an option for stores to kind of jump on with Star City games, but as far as I know and what I've been told, is that it's quite expensive for stores to do that, and unless your store is already quite successful, and it would have to not hurt them at all to be able to jump on board with that.
Yeah, and
Where-
we have plenty of tokens we could put out.
Yeah. But my point with saying any of this is, in Utah we don't have Star City Games doesn't really come out here. We might get an open in Denver here and there, and that's about it. So where they have tournaments to be able to qualify for their invitationals and whatnot, we don't get those at all.
No.
Period. None of the stores are supported by Star City out here, and with that said, it's just not really all that realistic.
Does Jaden have
But they are
this-
sweet tokens. They are sweet tokens.
Huh.
What's up, Pat?
Hey, me guys. I'm looking for Jaden's online stuff. Have you seen it back here?
No. We've been
Alright.
looking at these screens
I mean, yeah.
intently.
So we saw Larry there. It looked like he revealed maybe an awesome hand with no lands.
That's never fun.
Not usually.
So
Who's he playing? Oh, he's playing John.
Yeah, some Squadron Hawks versus
Man, Larry's deck is
Bombardment.
interesting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's great.
Pat, would you be so kind as to grab a water for me?
Sure. You guys want any snacks?
I'm
Yeah.
good. Thanks.
Surprise me again.
Oh,
Surprise you again?
I'm good.
All right.
All right, Pat's gonna bring me a surprise
That
treat
doesn't
again.
work.
You've done it too. Yes, fantastic against True Name Nemesis decks. But especially if you have one threat out that's equipped with a Jitte or something, and you're trying to kill it.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of their tokens are really cool.
The OMA? What are those? What does that stand for, OMA?
The packs that are from Star City, right?
Oh, is that what they're called? Okay. That's awesome.
Oh, the original Magic Art token packs.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, those are sweet. Yeah, Mailman, that's cool that you have those. All right, we got a quick Bitter Blossom. That's already going to be something to deal with.
Right.
It's hopefully hopefully for John.
Yeah, so
We can get this Jitte back online, right?
This is really a fascinating
Or
part
not.
of this deck, right? Is it has hand disruption, right? So if he's got a Therapy or a Thoughtseize here, he's fine. Otherwise, he's in trouble, right? Having to deal with a Batterskull in hand is not easy to do. Once it hits play for this deck. Did you not have a good time versus Delver down in Vegas? Is that what we're getting at here?
I don't know what experiences you've had, CPT, but for all those people who didn't say this, I'll say I'm sorry. All right, I'm speaking for them. They told me I could.
There were probably a few Delver decks playing in the Legacy
Yeah,
GP, right?
there were.
just a couple.
I mean, I beat Titus Chalk on in my third round with chains, so
Yeah.
that's how you beat Delver right there. No, you had a bad time with Delver, but you were on Delver.
There you go.
Yeah, Delver decks are doing really well, and you know what? They're diverse, and there's a lot of ways you can use them. They're really awesome decks. And
All right.
and Brian, yeah, we gotta get some sweet tokens, man.
Yeah, it would be, especially here where we've got spirits and fairies going on.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt, but
No.
it doesn't come up very often where we really need to have.
I mean, call me crazy, but seriously, every time I have decks with tokens, I go out of my way to make sure I have tokens for my decks, and I don't think most people do that.
I often do, and then I never end up using them, and then
Really?
I build another deck that I need them for, and I don't have them. It's whenever I need them, I don't. So that's a disenchant, taking out Bitter Blossom, the very cool player rewards disenchant,
Mm-hmm.
textless.
Yeah.
Take 3! And he's going to go down to 20 from 23 because he gained some life. 7 and 2 on the food chain. And then you decided you had enough?
You did not have enough, Brian. Tell them the truth. What happened in day 2? We need the truth. Just give him the chains.
More
I
Lingering
did.
Souls.
The poor guy was there to debut his book. Brian even bought one of his books, and I didn't know about the book. And here I am like, oh, hey, Titus Chalk, he just put out a book, and I just beat the crap out of him with chains last round. There you go, Brian. See, now you guys know. If you're gonna play food chain, you're gonna do really well in day 1, and then day 2 is gonna let you down massively.
I went 7 and 2 on the food chain, and then just a few posts later, 0 and 3.
0 and 3. 0 and 3 in day 2.
7 and 5. That's a decent record.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, I couldn't be more proud of him, but no, it's great. And food chains seem to be a good meta choice for the decks that he saw, you know. It's good to be able to attack on 2 different angles, and I think food chain does that well.
So now we've got, instead of all of those different tokens, we've got a 5 spirits out. A little 5 in front of that, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. It would be a great use of stockpile. I think he was tapped out there. I think he flashed back Lingering Souls and tapped out. But here would be a great use of hidden stockpile. You get to block and then sack and prevent any life gain. He played the only 2 burn decks. That's also what happens if you play Food Chain. You just get to be matched up against. Ooh, okay. This is kind of interesting. Sword coming down. So John's stuck on 2 lands here, right? That's not helping things.
No, and the fact that we're getting servos off of this hidden stockpile, we just gonna chump this Batterskull all day until he finds the things that are gonna win the game.
So he hasn't actually yet blocked and sacked.
Okay.
Let's see if he does that here. So I think that's what he's pointing to. He's going to block
Yes.
1, sack it to hidden stockpile. So
No life gain.
no life gain for Batterskull. No awesome sword interaction, getting to ping things and draw cards. Just completely negates them. That's rude. Hidden stockpile, a legacy staple.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Let's just
Bring that one back
just
up.
allowing the functionality to happen here. It's going to be another weird.
This is exactly what Wizards envisioned when they printed this card. They're like, oh, Legacy needed this.
I'm sorry, guys.
You're
The
welcome,
card keeps
world.
changing back and forth between the different modes.
That is really odd that it's doing that.
It's the new site versus the old site. Sometimes when you pull up a card, it goes to the new, and sometimes it goes to the old. So
Ugh.
it keeps bouncing back and forth. For fun. For fun, guys.
It's not that fun.
So, if I was playing Legacy, I would not know what this card does. Luckily, I've drafted enough that it's a good draft card, right? So... Yeah, let's...
Buy
buying out hidden
thousands of
stock...
them.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you can pick up a foil for $1 right now. So, yeah, go ahead and just buy them.
Yep.
It'll instantly make
You-
Aether Revolt box. It'll be Fatal Push and Hidden Stockpile. That'll be all of
Stockpile.
the value in the entire box.
I can see it years from now. You like pull up TCG Player and you're like sort, like click on the set, and sort by expense, and it's just gonna be like Fatal Push, Hidden Stockpile, and then it's gonna be like Mythic.
right. Well, right now a box it's like a third of the value of a box of Aether Revolt is Fatal Push. So.
Yeah, it's terrible. In fact, I got half off a box, right? So I felt good about it. I was like, oh yeah, $50 box, super cheap. I open it, no value, but there was one card, and it was a foil Fatal Push.
Yeah, that's all you need.
And guess what, guys? Right now, that pays for almost like most of the
box,
value I
yeah.
put into it.
It does have masterpieces, but if you open up a half of them, it's still not
Yeah.
worth it. They're $30, right? $20 maybe.
You know what? I still have not opened a masterpiece, and I do well in my tournaments. I open boosters,
Okay, so this
Still
card
haven't
that
done it.
he's holding in hand is definitely
The one that he just played.
it's out of his sideboard, isn't it? Maybe it's a Seal of Cleansing, an original art Seal of
It
Cleansing.
looks like Seal of Cleansing to
Yeah,
me.
yep. Okay, so that's the enchantment. Cost 2. You can sacrifice it to destroy an artifact or an enchantment. And it got spell snared. Rude!
That,
So he's going to sacrifice his Bloodghast to scry.
man, it's a Faithless Looting on top. He's going to put that on the bottom.
So I think if I was John here, I would equip the sword to the...
We got an R2D2 token. Is that a servo?
So they're not all on the one.
I think that's a servo.
Yeah! That's a great servo.
I got a Magnemite token that's a servo. Pretty happy with that one. No, he didn't miss the Revolt trigger. There, at least. I don't know if he missed any
I think that was
others.
the first time he's done it during his turn.
Yeah.
He's been sacrificing during John's turn as to sack a blocker.
Right. Yeah. Keep that in mind. The stockpile only works if a creature dies on your turn.
So here he is doing
Or
it
sorry,
again.
a permanent.
He's
leaves the
sacrificing the
battlefield.
servo as a blocker, so no life gain, no sort of fire and ice triggers. I don't believe he's missed any triggers yet. I think he's playing this pretty cleanly. No, he's not actually. He is actually, because he's attacking for 4 in the air. He's got 4 spirits still. He's got 5 total. So John's down to 9 life. I think this is actually working pretty effectively.
It really is. Not only that, but he gets to continue to scry.
Yep.
And eventually you're going to find a piece that's going to manage this board state. This isn't an impressive board state, and yes, John has a large hand, but
if he didn't have the hidden stockpile, being able to sacrifice, this game would be over, right?
Even
John would be at 400 life.
Even just bringing the Bloodghast and sacking it to scry 1 every turn is a lot of value. So even just the lands.
Right, John needs his Squadron Knocks. Where are the Squadron Knocks?
Hurry!
He needs,
They abandoned him when he needed them the most.
John points out that the Bloodghast could have attacked there. Had haste. Because he's a nice guy. Cabal Therapy naming something. I can maybe find out.
And we're going to respond to this.
I can't tell you. So we've got maybe a Jitte? So he's thinking about putting out a Jitte here before the therapy. But now he knows about it. By the way, I've got this Jitte in my hand. Before he names anything.
You kind of figured he had it though, right? Because he went and searched for Batterskull.
Right.
And Batterskull is very clearly not the best option for this matchup. No question about it, Jitte is the best you can get.
He named Click.
And then he's going to sack the Bloodghast.
Tapped. There you go. Yeah, you can't. He's trying to cheat out of Jitte. Goodness. It looks like he caught it. And okay, so he's going to. Something's getting forced.
No, I think he named the
Cabal
force.
Therapy is getting okay.
No,
flashback therapy.
The flashback therapy named Force, and then since he sacrificed Bloodghast, the revolt triggered and he got a servo.
So why did the Snapcaster leave?
Oh, did he name that?
I think he forced the Cabal Therapy flashback.
Okay.
Played Force pitching Snapcaster.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. 100%. Yeah, and that puts him to 4. That's lethal this next turn, right?
So we've
He
got
has 5 spirits.
Council's Judgment.
It's going to take care of 1 spirit.
Okay, Council's Judgment takes care of the hidden stockpile. Of course. Just what he needed. Get rid of the card that's helping him through this, right?
And he's going to get to gain 6 life.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
Huge difference. This is a huge swing in the other direction.
Sort of. And he drops another stockpile. Scries to get there.
Oh, my goodness.
And does he attacks with some number of these spirits, right? He's gonna
I imagine 3, and then he leaves.
With 3 of them. Yeah.
It's actually kind of surprising that he's only leaving 1 up because he can see that his opponent has swords in hand.
Yeah. If you were gonna sack one of them,
I think I
that
would have
been a
gone.
mistake.
I think I would have only attacked with 2.
Yeah, True Name Nemesis with as much life as he has out. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna swords that one. We're gonna sack and scry. We see a fetch land on the top. No, a fetch land is actually worth looking at because it brings back the Bloodghast first. It also triggers a revolt.
Right. So you get 2 creatures out of the 1 land.
You get 2 creatures out of the 1 land. Not only that, but you don't.
So this is where that may have been an error, right? Sword finally gets to hit. This is the first trigger it gets to happen. So he loses a spirit that way.
I think this is a huge mistake.
Gains a bunch of life, not being able to block and sack.
I think no attack would have been much better than the attack he made.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Bloodghast is pretty much irrelevant at this state.
Right.
However, keep in mind, each time he brings back the Bloodghast, he can pay 1, sack it to scry 1. It also triggers Revolt. So even though the Bloodghast can't really attack and be efficient that way, it's actually giving him a lot of looks at what his next draw is going to be. And you have this fetch land to trigger Revolt, not to mention bring back the Bloodghast for another scry.
So he's going to attack with his 2 spirits that are left. Yeah, yep. I think you're right. I think if he had just attacked with 2, he would have been in a much better situation here. He's going to go ahead and sack. He gets a servo and a scry. The servo won't happen until end of turn, of course, because hidden stockpile hides them. I don't know.
Yeah, he needed to leave back spirits.
Yeah, the Jite and the True Name are in hand. They were revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they very much look like they're in play. And I'm still not sure if it would have been enough had he... But he would have had the hidden stockpile going and blockers going and making servos. So eventually I think John would have gotten there. He would have had True Name eventually.
I mean, isn't it incredible what John finding his third land did to this game?
Right.
He kind of had the whole game in his hand and it just took a minute to get there.
Right. Now he gets to play True Name and Ponder. And since he's at 11 life, see, Larry had him down enough that if he had found a Goblin Bombardment, that could have ended it, right?
Yeah.
That could have just done it. But by being able, like you said, Champagne, by getting those Batterskull hits in.
Now, you know what I really want to see here? I want to see that cool card that we were looking at. Urborg Justice.
Yeah.
I want to. He has so much mana right now.
Or even the Grave Pact would work, right? You could just play Grave Pact, sacrifice a couple things.
3 things would do it. Yeah. So he does have a couple draws that would be amazing, and I think he should scry to them. I really.
Yeah, I think that was a stockpile. That's not going to do it.
He can it's a Cabal Therapy.
Therapy's not what you wanted there.
No.
He still has... Nope, that's enough.
And
so,
that's
yeah,
gonna be it.
he probably should have kept scrying until he got there,
Yeah,
right?
he kept a couple lands on the top. He was thinking, oh, maybe I can get some more value off these off the Bloodghast scries. I think in reality he should have been aggressively scrying for Grave Pact. If he scries the Grave Pact, it won't be useful. Yeah, at that point for sure. But earlier in the game, it could have been amazing. I mean, and this is something we see from a non-blue deck, right? Like.
All right, so we're going to jump over to our backup match here to some board state. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, we've got Matthew on D&T and Calvin on Grixis Delver. And this is a crazy board state that catching up is going to take a minute.
So we've got Mother Rune Thalia and Stoneforge out, and a Vial on 3. We've got a flipped Delver and a Gurmag Angler out. There's definitely a Karakas in play, and I think that Rishadenport's in play.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but yeah, it's Rishadenport, Wasteland, Karakas.
So Static, I'm not 100% sure he had that game. He was definitely in a good position, right? But I think this is one of the very first days he's been playing with this deck too.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a simple deck. It looks like a deck that it's pretty easy to make a mistake, right? Yeah. Even if you're an experienced player, I could see why picking it up.
And we quickly saw that keeping that Batterskull, being able to block and sack thing was working for him. And I think he was planning on blocking and doing it again. He just missed that he saw the Swords to Plowshares in hand, and he knew it was there. He just wasn't prepped for it.
Yeah, it was definitely just a misstep on his part, and
but
he just got too aggressive.
By being able to play True Name pretty much the next turn. I'm not sure if he had a fast enough clock it would have worked.
No, it forced him to have one of like 3 different cards in his deck.
Because he would have had to hold back 2 blockers. He would have only been attacking for 2. It wasn't as quick a clock as earlier. So he was definitely in a better spot though.
Yeah,
right?
he could have found Jite too actually. So he had like 4 really really good draws in his deck, and yeah, I think he just should have aggressively scried for those things.
So this is a much more. Well, this is what we're used to seeing, right? We've got some Death and Taxes. We've got some Delver. Yes, I agree.
I agree, Static. It was for sure.
I'm
not blaming him either.
Brian says, if only he had a vintage card. things would have been different.
Can we temporarily ban that guy?
I think we probably should.
I think it does it for like 600 seconds. That'd be really great.
If you mention vintage in chat, bad things happen.
600-second ban if you mention vintage. No, everybody will mention vintage. We're not going to do that to you guys.
All right, so we've got a. Is that a Sword of Fire and Ice in his graveyard then? That's intriguing.
Do you want me to get the life dies?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Why don't we transfer those over and ask them what game they're on?
Yeah.
That's like 2 hours. It does take a minute to go. Okay, 600 divided by. Wait, what? Yes, type 1 is totally okay. You can mention type. You can even mention type 2 if you want to. That's fine. Just no standard. All right, we've got 14 to 16. And we'll get the. We're definitely not on round 2 anymore either. This is round 3, and I'm sure this is not game 1. I hope it's not game 1. Yeah, type 1.5. You can talk about that all you want, Champagne. Here we go. That's when I was playing Magic.
All right, some fun news.
I'm ready.
They are on game more than 3.
Oh, interesting.
Which means they're just playing for fun.
Oh.
I asked them if they would use our dice anyway, and they gladly agreed.
So who won? Who won?
That's a question I didn't ask.
Oh, okay.
What am I doing?
No, it's all right. That's all right. We'll figure it out next round. So these guys are just playing another match for fun. They've already finished up.
And Calvin got it.
And Calvin got there. I'll even put that in here. But that's all right. We haven't got to see any Death and Taxes today, strangely.
No. Yeah, it is
even
very
though
strange.
We have a lot of that here.
You know, I actually got to have a good conversation with Matthew not long ago, and he had a lot of interesting things to say about Death and Taxes. Some things I really liked, some things that I felt like were a reason not to play the deck.
Okay. Sometimes when you're on a deck and you believe in it fully, you really hype it up, right?
Yeah. But this deck really, really is good when you know the format well. Otherwise, it's just not a great deck.
Type Dan Gray. I actually do not know Type Dan Gray. I don't think I've ever heard of it.
I have never heard of that.
Top-notch commentary. I'm not sure. That could be entirely sarcastic. I have no idea.
You know what? I think that saying top-notch commentary puts it in the realm of letting us decide.
And since we're the commentators, we get to decide what
we
it is.
decide that it is that.
So it's definitely sarcasm.
Whatever. I'm taking that as just a huge compliment. Thank you, Champagne. I appreciate it.
So things are happening, and I find myself now that I know that this game is just for fun.
Great reading comprehension too. Tip of the hat for the commentary.
Type Dan Gray is the best format you've never heard of. All right,
Well, I mean,
apparently, I'll repost your link here.
now that I've heard of it, I'm starting to think it's not the best.
There's
format I've never
a
heard
lot of text, and I'd have to read things.
Which I don't particularly want to do right now. But I definitely will look at this later.
You guys can definitely educate yourselves on what Dan Gray is or isn't. There's more text. Okay, there's
A list of cards.
There's some deck lists and other words. Reading while talking, also challenging. So, earlier we were looking at invocations.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Let's pull those back
Well,
up.
we could, but now we've got this match that we're showing here too.
They're playing for fun. I think we can bounce back and forth, right?
All right, real quick. We'll finish off our invocations here.
Sure.
Maybe. Let's see if I can find
Maybe.
where they were. They were right here. Here we go. Oh.
Yeah, like zoomed in, remember?
Ah, yes, that's what I did. That's why it changed. Okay, so we were near the end of the list anyway. Real quick, we'll.
I believe. Okay, so while you had stepped out for a minute, and we went through Shatterstorm, Through the Breach, and Blood. Or hold on. Shatterstorm, Through the Breach, and I think we were on Choke.
Oh! Don't judge me, Brian. Here we go.
Brian, don't watch this part.
Okay, so we'd moved through Boyle, Shatterstorm. We saw Through the Breach.
Yeah. Okay.
Right there, right?
Yeah, and
Which I quite like the Through the Breach.
I think it looks great. I mentioned that I thought it was really, really odd to see Splice onto Arcane with no like explanation of what that is.
Right.
Because it's just not self-explanatory, and it's not something that a player has used a lot of unless you played it in.
Yeah. But the art
Limited.
itself, as a commentary on the art itself, you've got the pillars on the side of the card art, right? The card frame.
Yeah.
And then you almost have that happening in the art. So it's almost like it's going through. It works. It works for me.
This is a good-looking card.
Yeah. Yep. And the people in the foreground, this giant thing breaking through this wall, it's great.
Besides the fact that all the text in the text box is like all caps, it's not really all that easy to read,
Right.
and then you better know exactly what Splice onto Arcane does, or you could just be like everybody else and just ignore that text is even on Through the Breach because nobody uses it anyway, unless you're using like.
Somebody
Desperate
said
or-
scroll past this awesome choke,
Oh yeah.
but somebody else wanted to comment on it.
No. There was a person earlier who mentioned that they just don't think this looks like a green card.
No,
I
absolutely
believe.
not. But it works. It works for me.
It looks.
They're asking for a judge.
It looks really good.
I'll pretend to be a judge for a minute here.
Sure. Yeah, it looks really good, but it just like screams Gruul at you. Like it's like mostly a red card, and it's like but there's like these little green parts on the side of the card. But overall, it's a good looking card. I mean, yeah, you're right. It is hard to get a green card. It's hard to portray like life and energy into a card or onto a plane that's just a bunch of sand. I was just
So-
commenting on this one right here.
Right? So the one thing that works about this is the Egyptian idea that the rivers turn to blood, right?
Yes,
Which is great.
that was one of the plagues, I believe.
Yeah. The only reason it doesn't work well is because we have this card that you got red, bloody water. Maybe it's just reflecting the blood moon. I'm not sure.
Maybe. I mean, maybe the choke and the blood moon happen at the same time. Maybe the
Yeah.
blood moon triggers the choke. I don't know.
All right. We've got Alert of Extinction. Okay. It's a card.
It really isn't a great looking card. It doesn't really look great on the border, but I love Lord of Extinction in general. Such a cool card.
And we've got a Scorpion God.
Scorpion God.
Okay. Yeah, this one's all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's got
It's
a
fine.
lot of text on it.
A lot of dark colors on it, and since it's kind of smaller art, it's fine.
And we've got, what, 2 more gods still to see, right? I believe. Let's
Is
see.
that what they've announced?
We've got 52 and 54, so we still have 53 and 51, yeah. Two more
You've-
the something gods
Okay.
that we haven't seen. Otherwise, these are all of the invocations. So, yeah, the Doomsday art is great. It's just Doomsday.
Yeah. I
Unfortunately.
mean, how are you really going to use Doomsday?
I think the Thoughtseize is fantastic.
Agreed.
I think the color of the art and the frame, it works really, really well. While it's also not one I must have, it's better than some that I dislike a lot.
And then if you're like me and like to mismatch your cards, then this Thoughtseize is a dream come true.
Oh, there is a god that was already revealed. It's just not on this primer.
The Locust God.
But the invocation is already.
I haven't.
Champagne is saying.
I don't think
That
I've
must have
seen.
been today.
I don't think I've seen the invocation for the Locust God yet.
And Doomsday is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
it looks so good.
Diabolic Edict is pretty sweet. It's not. You really dig this Desolation Angel?
I do mostly. Not only that, but Desolation Angel is such a cool card. It's not something that you're ever going to use. It's not something that's
Yeah.
going to see any play. It's just, it's good looking. If I had one in my collection, I would like it. I would enjoy having it.
What do we think about the new flexible block structure? So, the new structure is. Let me remove this from frame real quick for you guys. I just had it pulled up, I believe. So we have two. After Hour of Devastation, we're still on the 2-block structure.
Correct.
Right?
We're going to Ixalan,
Yeah.
and then there will be an expansion set to Ixalan.
Right. Rivals of.
Yes.
So there's just 2. There's not 3.
Correct. And I believe after Ixalan starts our 1 set block
Right.
deal.
1 large set. There's going to be 3 large sets a year plus a core set.
Yeah,
And what this does is it makes drafting better,
absolutely.
right?
It makes the story go faster.
And they don't have to come up with a new mechanic in the first set and have it be all dumbed down and then try and push it in the second set to make it more interesting. They can just do it all in 1 set.
And they have their precious core sets back so that they have at least
They can
one.
actually reprint things.
They have 1 set per year that they know they won't screw up standard.
Right. And a lot of people really enjoyed drafting core sets, right? They were fun sets. Some of them.
They made good competitive environment draft sets.
Yeah.
However, they lack flavor. You
Yeah,
know, like,
right. But it was just like, this is drafting Magic. It's not, oh, this Amonkhet feels like drafting this way, or this set feels drafting that way. It was just, you were just playing simple
Right.
cards and getting to play a simple Magic.
I mean, bringing back core sets, it's going to allow more reprints. Wizards can really mess with that. And I think that is a good thing. Even though we have a million master sets for that, I still think it's a good thing. But something interesting is, in the article I read, they said that core sets would be much different. They would be different. That's all that was said. I don't know exactly what that means for core sets.
Okay.
But
the thing I read
gonna
made
be
it
like a
sound
new
like
tech.
it was more like M15, where about half new cards, half reprints, and that it would be a cohesive set. It sounded a lot like what M15 was to me.
Okay. I'm sure we'll
Check
we'll
time.
learn. Okay. I'm sure we'll learn more about this core set is going to be like as we come closer to the time it gets released. Half reprints, half new cards. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what Bryce was just saying.
All right.
Yeah, Jorgensen just confirmed what you said. He said that about half reprints, half new cards.
All right, we're going to quickly jump over to some Magic action here.
Awesome.
Sorry, this table. Here we go. We've got John on Stoneblade.
Wow, this guy
versus-
has been living in the feature match.
Yeah, versus Calvin. So these are our 2 undefeated decks. We've seen just moments of Calvin playing Grixis Delver. And we're going to see if this Squadron Hawk Stoneblade deck can get it done again. We're on round 4. Sorry, this round started really quick on us here. Sorry, we just barely caught it right as it started.
Good call.
And we've got Paul playing Matthew as our backup match. Oop, yeah, let's get rid of that.
All right, and we're going to see his hand. We got a Stoneforge, a Snapcaster. It looked like...
Yeah, this isn't just... Oh, I gotta close the door. There we go.
All right, we're going to start on Deathrite Shaman. Surprise, surprise.
It's getting it done, though, right? There definitely are 3 sets, huh? You're showing me something. I'll find it. I did not know there were 3.
Oh, I did hear something about this. You're right. Yeah.
Explorers?
Ixalan, Rivals of
Ah.
Ixalan, or Explorers of Ixalan, and then Rivals of Ixalan.
So Explorers comes out November of 2017. Weird.
And
And
then
it doesn't even have a number of cards yet. And then Rivals in January.
With 196 cards. Yeah, this is weird.
Interesting. I didn't read anything about in the preview week.
Now that
about the set.
I see it, I remember seeing all 3 of these set symbols. But yeah, it's really interesting. What's going
So
on.
as we were talking about earlier, the abundance of Magic sets.
Yeah.
Suddenly they're throwing. Okay, Explorers isn't a set. Yeah. Tell us, chat. What is Explorers of Ixalan? Let's see if we can just find out right here. It's a board game thing. 4 60-card decks, no new cards, 20 double-sided tokens, 50 game tiles, 40 counter pieces, and 4 deck boxes.
Not a Magic set. Okay.
But it does have a set symbol, and the cards on it will have that set symbol.
I'm
it, I
sure
guess.
they'll throw some new art on some standard cards,
Right.
and that's what we'll have.
Interesting. So this is something different. So it is still a 2-block set.
Okay.
Right. How
Yeah,
they get
yeah.
their own set symbol.
Yes.
Yeah, well, if you just pull up the page, the coming soon page here, I'll link it. Not that you guys can't find this, but there's a lot of things, right? It's just.
A ton. In the next year, we have like 10 things coming out.
Did you see how this wrench for unstable has
Yeah,
an
love it.
acorn?
An acorn?
An acorn
I
right
know.
there. That's great. As the nut. All right. So here we are in turn 3. I don't know any more details than that. Just from what I read from that page. If you click on the link and then click on the Explorers of Ixalan, it'll take you to that page I was just reading from. Yeah, it's an interesting idea to use cards and some sort of a board game instead of just a board game like the product Hasbro
Yeah,
made.
Wizards is trying to find new ways to play this game. It might be more similar to like Plane Chase or
Right.
Arch Enemy, a new way to play the game.
Here
'cause
we've
there
got
aren't enough
a
ways, I
Daze.
guess.
This is an Invocation Daze that's being hardcast, maybe?
Maybe. Definitely a Daze. I can tell you that much. 100% Daze.
Curious. I'm not sure exactly what that interaction was there. I can't, because the cards just have a little bit of glare on him in his graveyard. It's quite the bombardment. Would you say it's a zombardment of products? Except without any zombies. More of a spiritual bombardment, right? If we're really getting into the... And here we've got some revealed cards again. Daze is going to take care of the Stoneforge Mystic. I'm pretty sure that Snapcaster and Flooded are in hand. I would not say... Why would I don't know. Why would you say that? See? The sarcasm? Yep, that's the quality commentary.
He was being serious. I could tell.
We've had a few dazes. Okay, so Calvin is playing with a Eternal Masters Daze, a Invocation Daze, and Scourge Stifle. Is that a Stifle?
Yeah.
I think
It is a Stifle.
we need a little bit of continuity. I'm gonna attack you with Deathrite Shaman because he doesn't have any black. Take that.
Yeah. And Deathrite Shaman has a power.
Right? Oh, we got another Stifle. Calvin's gonna make sure he loses the life.
No, you paid one for that
Yeah. You
land
fetched.
thing.
You tried to fetch. To spoil mediocre draft chat. Untap, upkeep, draw.
Oh, that was terrible.
Could you guys hear that, or were you in the room?
I heard a little bit of it, but I watched it back when I got home, and I was laughing so hard it was that bad.
It was neat how they tried to make it enjoyable, right?
Yes.
Because it could have been horrible, and at least there was some elements of enjoyment for it for me.
Admittedly, I did enjoy parts.
Right. Yeah, the guy. I mean, he made it worth watching, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just would have been bad.
I loved how the Gatewatch was like trying to get the crowd on their side. I'm like, dude, you've lost.
They attempted to bring some of his elements in, and if you guys haven't seen this is in the Star City game, or not the Star City, the
They uploaded it on Twitch.
Is it on there?
Magic the Gathering.
This was
uploaded it
day
on Twitch.
3 of the GP, so it's during the modern GP.
Yeah,
And it was before the top 8, or a little before that even.
I think yeah, it was definitely before.
And they played with the really large oversized cards, and they had this guy who I guess used to work for Wizards, playing Bolas, and he had some fantastic lines. Oh yeah, the sandcastle fail just added. It was perfect though. It was almost as if it was scripted.
Oh, that wasn't even the only fail. Did you see the time that he was supposed to rip the
he was so the top deck Hour of Devastation.
Yeah, he was supposed to top deck a specific card because this game that they're having with the oversized cards, they're supposed to play out a very specific way.
Right.
And he like looks at the top card and he's like, "This isn't the one I'm supposed to have." Like tosses it to the side and draws the next one. He's like, "Yes, this one."
But some of his
Destroy
lines
all your
were so good,
permanents.
right? Some of his lines. You will die first. To his minions.
Yeah.
Or I will allow that. I won't alter the rules just for this.
I liked the judge came in. He's like, "Get out of here, judge."
Yeah, he made a judge call and then just dismissed him.
Yeah.
All right, so Deathrite Shaman's adding black here, and then Gurmag Angler must be coming down, and he's removing the rest that he needs. Yeah, it was great.
And Bolaz made the Gatewatch come and help him
But
dig
then
this card out of
the stream totally cut out, right? And the sound stopped working, and it was so bad. It's like, here's this thing that I was actually entertained with. I was waiting for the next silly one-liner, and then you couldn't hear any sound.
Nope.
That was unfortunate.
When I first started watching it, it was like, have you ever watched something and been embarrassed watching it? That's how it started out, and I kind of made it through it, and was able to find enjoyment in it. But it was bad. It was a combination of just awful. Yes, terrifying.
Yeah,
Thank you, Champagne.
Well, the sound didn't just cut out.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, it was. At first, I was like worried that something was wrong with everything going on in my system, and I was like, oh wait, no, I'm just watching. Magic
yeah.
on Twitch, right?
Well, there's wizards for you. All right. They have these huge tech booths, and they just
All right,
nothing's quite working.
Here's a Vendilion click that gets bolted, and then he gets to click and chooses a young Pyromancer, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
That goes to the bottom.
Yeah, not something we can manage.
So we're kind of in this interesting board state where Calvin doesn't have any black for his Deathrite, and John is sitting here on a Snapcaster and a Brainstorm and a card. Here's the Brainstorm. I think it was intentionally bad. I don't think that the sand not working was intentional.
No.
But they did have a shovel nearby. So maybe somebody
it's almost like they knew it wasn't going to work well, and they're like, let's just throw that there, and if worse comes to worst, we just spend the next 5 minutes digging this sucker out.
and Bolas gets tired. That was great.
He's got like sweat on his forehead. Had to work for that one, guys.
Yeah, they were just gonna pull a rope and have the sand like break
Crumble,
open.
yeah.
Didn't work.
He can beat the Gatewatch, but he's bested by like a small sand pillar.
Here comes a Squadron Hawk. Well, they had a. Oh, you know what line was great? When they put out Samut the Tested, and he says, "I hope that test wasn't positive," something like that. Oh man, I was so not expecting that, and it was just borderline dirty enough that I was surprised that they allowed it.
Yeah.
All right, Calvin gets a Wasteland. That's not really what he wants to see.
I loved how there were like 20 people that were like a part of this game, and there were miss triggers. There were mistaps of mana. They like plussed Samut at one point and didn't actually put a plus count, like another loyalty on it. It was just a mess, and I loved pretty much everything but the very beginning. It was like really enjoyable.
Yeah, that joke maybe wasn't an okayed one. You're right. But it was great. The audience loved it. Yeah, here comes some more Squadron Hawks.
Yeah.
Here they come. All right, so we've got a True Name Nemesis versus 3 Squadron Hawks. Who is going to win?
The True Name Nemesis is.
Well, he's also at 13 life.
Exactly.
20, right? There's a little difference there. But.
Man, Wasteland is not what he was looking for.
And, the Deathrite can gain him a little life if he needs to.
Right.
The joke. Okay, so during this large card game, the Gatewatch had Samut the Tested. They revealed it and played it, and Bolas had an answer. Right, he had a way to get rid of it, so it quickly died. And he said something to the effect of, "I hope the test wasn't positive," to Samut the Tested, which is now going to live in infamy, right?
Yeah.
If that card ever sees standard play, I don't know if it's good enough.
I think Star City. I think it was Cedric Phillips who had a good comment about Samut because they were like reviewing it, and he goes, "Guys, I'm gonna assume that this one was actually tested by Wizards. Like, I'm gonna make that assumption. They haven't tested some cards in the
Right.
the close past, but something gives me a feeling that this one's tested."
That's great. All right, here comes some 5 beatdowns and gain some life off of get rid of a Stoneforge Mystic. Yep. I can't say I've seen this board state ever in Legacy. 3 Stoneforge Mystics versus a True Name Nemesis and a Snap and a Deathrite. All right. 3 more. Down to 4.
Yeah, and as it turns out, True Name Nemesis is not an easy card to deal with, especially when you're on the top of your deck.
I think I maybe would have attacked with the Deathrite right there to put him at 3. Okay, yeah, because see, that changes John's blocking, attacking here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have just been able to attack with the True Name for the win.
Just your hunch, huh? I think your hunch is pretty dead on.
Maybe we did, actually. You're right. Okay,
I think we did.
Lightning Bolt for the win. All right, so Calvin takes that down. The 3... So, okay. You've got Stoneforge Mystic, right?
Yes.
It wasn't able to get anything.
Right.
You've got Squadron Hawk. Squadron Hawks, 3 of them without any equipment on them. Not so good. With equipment, he's 3-0 right now. Okay, I mean he's been doing all right.
He went 3-0-1 last week with the same deck.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably made a couple changes, but
What's Legacy? The correct answer is the greatest format, Crimson Viper.
whether you're sarcastic or not, that is our answer.
comes back a month later asking the same question. Last time I tried to answer, I was like, "Okay, Legacy is a format where you can play with cards, certain ban lists." He responds a minute and a half later, "The greatest format." Like, oh. I do learn. I do remember occasionally when I get trolled.
I'm glad Bryce learns. I don't. The greatest format. It's weird. We're saying that Legacy's the greatest format, and Brian hasn't even piped in saying anything about Vintage yet. And maybe it is. Maybe Brian's starting to realize what the truth really is. You guys are amazing. Thanks, Crimson.
I made the mistake of trying to actually. Okay, so if you're just tuning in and you haven't watched Legacy before, this
Good
is
guy
how
Bryce
you
over
explain
here.
the format. And yeah, he just interrupted me with in all tech and all. This was like 4 months ago now, right? We didn't even have our faces on stream at the time, right? We were just disembodied voices.
Oh, wow, back in the day.
Yeah.
Back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth.
So let's see what's going on in this backup match here. We've got shuffling in the backup match.
Just our luck.
Brilliantly. We don't even have a backup match, guys. We just have shuffling going on both matches. So on our other match, we have Matthew on Death and Taxes versus Paul, and I'm not sure what Paul's playing tonight, actually.
Yeah, Game TM says Legacy is a format where you can play almost anything you want and do mediocre to okay if you metagame it well enough. Wrong. It's the greatest format. Were you not listening, Game TM?
I'm gonna have somebody come up to me one day in person.
In person.
I'll be at a GP. What's Legacy? The greatest format. Boom. And he'll just be afraid or startled or oh, I thought you were Crimson Viper.
No, it would be Crimson Viper, and he'd be like, you've passed my test.
Go, Calvin. He has my one Simian Spirit guide. All right, I'll go tell him. He's not playing with Simian Spirit right now.
No, he's not.
He's playing Grixis Delver.
Tell him I need it back. Yeah, let me just tell him. Hey, some guy in the chat. No, some guy in the chat wants his.
Well, I'm glad
SSG back.
I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. We've been having a good time. streaming Legacy with some pretty competitive players and some pretty competitive
See,
decks.
this is what's so funny, guys. Champagne says a compliment towards our commentary, and then here's Bryce going, yeah, he's definitely sarcastic, and then Crimson says, no, seriously, you guys are awesome, and then Bryce is like, oh, thank you.
That's harder to well, it's harder to read some sarcasm in that one. There you go. That's a T-shirt right there. I like it. What is Legacy? All right, here we are.
Format.
Game 2. John on the play. Starts out with an island, a basic island. So Calvin is playing Stifle. He's playing Wasteland.
Yes.
He had Days. I assume they came out here.
In Modern Storm.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he's been playing. I don't know if he's been playing Modern anymore.
No, he's been mostly on Legacy.
Yep. So I'm sure he can.
He's
get
here
that
like
back to-
every week, so you know where to find him.
Yeah.
Yeah, basics are definitely strong here. That's the point you were going to make.
Right, yeah. A lot of what Calvin's trying to do early, his early disruption, Stifle, Wasteland, it doesn't work. But I assume Wastelands came out. Stifle maybe did too.
Yeah, I think after seeing as many basics as he did,
Stifle can still work.
I would assume Stifle at minimum would come out.
Well, Stifle, you can Stifle a Stoneforge Mystic trigger, right? Which means it's just a simple 1/2 with nothing in your hand.
It's extremely unthreatening.
It sometimes works, or you can Stifle a fetch land, and they have to play around it.
Yeah, and you can Stifle equip activations as well, which probably isn't usually great, but it's the fact that you can do it is good. All right, so Swords on the Deathrite. This is exactly where he wants to be. He wants to be up on land, and he wants
with nothing on the board.
Yeah. Well, against Delver, sure. Like anytime Delver doesn't have a threat and your life total's above 10, you've got to be feeling good about the game as long as you have something to interact.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
And if you just play around it just that much, if Stifle buys you a turn just because you know about it. All right, so here comes a Deathrite, and it looks like John's got a Stifle in hand.
He does.
Along with a Batterskull and... Yeah. Usually you don't want to brainstorm then. You're correct.
No.
But you do see weird interaction because of playing around things. Yeah, Crimson, Kyer here was at GP. He played in all 3 formats.
I did.
Brian, who's often behind me, who was casting with me way back when, also played in Legacy.
Yeah, he played in Legacy only, and he did make day 2. I played in all 3 events and did strictly mediocre. I ended up dropping mostly because the throwback events were such high value.
Ask him how he did.
Ask me how I did. Oh, well, here, let me tell you, since Jorgensen's going to make you ask anyway.
Nice. Day 2ing in Modern
Champagne.
would be... I had a hard time. I was back and forth about going, and I almost went like the last day.
Yeah.
Because here we are not far away, right? It's just a, 6-hour drive.
6-hour drive.
But I just decided that I knew these GPs were going to be huge, and so even if I played well, chances were I wouldn't cash, let alone... and cashing is kind of sad, right? If you get $200 for getting 64th, but you paid $100 entry, it doesn't exactly feel like cashing after 2 full days of Magic.
The EV on these events are pretty bad. You typically go more because it's a convention.
Yeah.
And you enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, and if you want to pick up some sweet foils or some dual lands that you want to see in person, or trade in some cards.
So Champagne, was that your first pro point, or have you had some in the past?
Yeah, I think I have all of 1 pro points myself.
Yeah, I have 1 to my name. 1 entire pro point.
But I haven't been traveling to go to these GPs.
And It was your very first. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
congrats, man. I know what that feels like. I just got my first one this last year. And then my brother, I teased my brother like crazy. I was like, oh, man, now I'm a pro player and you're not a pro player. Literally the next GP we went to, he went 11-4 and got 2 pro points. And now I've got nothing on him.
Well, and day twoing your first GP feels really good, right? It feels
Yes.
like you've turned this corner, right? And,
It is a huge corner.
and like you actually can play Magic and compete. And then often you get smoked in day 2, right? by players that had several buys. Back in the first GP I day 2'd, players had like 3 buys because the buy system was different back then.
Yeah, it was.
Right? And so here I had gone through with no buys, and I tell them that, and they were like, "Whoa, you did what? You're 9-1 after day 1 and no buys?" And I was like, "Yeah."
We're like, geez. You lost your last 3 matches, Champagne. I'm sorry, man. Like, that's rough. I actually in my last tournament, it was Modern, and I was playing Jund, and I was 10-3. I was 10-3 going into my last 2 rounds. I was feeling fantastic, and I ended up losing to Tron, big surprise, and then I played against the Hiri Control and just got wasted by it. It's not the way you want to end your day, but hey, man, 10-5, that's a 2.0 record. Like,
Yeah.
that's you're playing against some of the best Magic players in the world.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a small accomplishment. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Congrats.
I mean, it was Modern, so it was just a format. It wasn't the greatest format, right?
No, it wasn't the greatest format. I mean, that was your first mistake, but nah, just strive to do better, you know? Like, that's what I try to do, and then I, like, go play 3 GPs in a row and just, like, fall apart, but what can you do? I
But
started...
the experience,
For sure.
You're more ready. Yeah, that's how a lot of GPs. It just feels different playing Magic at that level too.
You wanna know what's worse though? Like when I was playing in these GPs, I won every match that I should have won, and I lost every match I should have lost. Which normally you would think about that and say, well, I mean, isn't that expected? Well, sure, yeah, it's expected, but guess what? I'm not there to lose all my bad matchups. Like, you've got to squeeze a couple bad matchups out here and there, and so it's frustrating that I wasn't able to make that happen, even with sideboard tech. Even though I look back through my weekends and can find so few play mistakes, it's frustrating.
So here we had Calvin try and play a True Name Nemesis. John forced it. Calvin forced back, and John forced that. So that's some card advantage, right? So we're looking at
Absolutely.
John with a card in hand now, and Calvin with maybe 3. But he probably was correct. He needed to get that True Name off and wasn't going to be able to do it otherwise. So we get to see John with a Batter Skull that Calvin clicks, and he goes ahead and put that on the bottom. John gets a new card. And suddenly Calvin's sitting with, 9 power, one of those being a death right.
You see Champagne's post. Yep, only 19 more 10 and 5s to get to silver.
That might be a more realistic goal than attempting to top it.
That's right, Jorgensen. You'll see Champagne over in Phoenix for sure.
Unfortunately, he'll find out that after the 3rd one, there's a new season. And
That's right. It's already switched season. My pro points expired.
but it lives on in infamy in your lifetime.
Wow, thanks. It makes me feel old and past my prime. Thank you.
I think that Grixis Delver is going to take this one down. I'm not seeing how John's going to come back unless he snuck in a Wrath of God into his deck.
I mean, let's be real here. He hasn't cast one Squadron Hawk this game.
So obviously he can't win.
I mean, how could he? I do think that watching this match is really does show just how good the Grixis Delver deck is.
Well, and John's playing it's obviously decent, right? He's
Yes.
3-1 with it.
Right.
But it's not the optimal list, I don't think, either.
Probably not.
All right, let's see what we've got going on.
But this is a player who's been playing tight, who's been playing well,
Ooh.
you know.
We're going to jump right into what I assume is game 3. Let's call this game 3. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. Because we saw them
I saw him
shuffling.
shuffling 2 times earlier,
Yeah.
so I would assume so.
And looks like Paul's on a reanimator list.
Reanimator. See, this is actually I feel like this usually is a good matchup for Death and Taxes. They tend to have a lot of things to hedge against Reanimator, but gotta find them, right?
Yeah, right. And you have to find them on time.
Yes.
Because Reanimator can win before you get anything out. Because he doesn't care about a Mother of Runes, right?
Right.
That's not an answer.
So this coming turn, this is where Paul wants to get something into play, because next turn Thalia comes down, and then it's going to push that turn off and push that turn off.
Yep. And so both of these players are have a loss, so they're both 2-1.
Okay.
I believe. I think we only had the 2 players undefeated today. I think we had an
16?
even 16.
Yeah.
I expect those numbers to go up.
I would
mean,
as well.
Here again, we have a lot more people watching than we do viewing, whereas it used to be the opposite. I think everybody's probably just played a lot of Magic. How about
Yeah, they
in
really
Vegas?
have. Take a week off.
Yeah, Mother of Runes does block Sire of Insanity. It's true all day long, and both players just keep discarding their hands, and it just
Nobody really gets anywhere.
yeah. So here he's got a Lotus Petal. I'm kind of surprised nothing actually happened. He's got 3 mana, and
There's the rest in
rest in
peace.
peace. So ouch. So
And
Paul must have kept a
Paul just says, okay.
yeah.
Well, and now we start the mom beats, right?
Right. I am assuming he's got blue, because he's got polluted deltas. I think the red black is better.
I am seeing Una, or sorry,
Iona.
Iona. Thank
Right.
you.
But that could
I
be
am seeing
okay.
Iona.
So maybe he's
Yeah,
on red black.
red black is kind of the choice right now, and most people are playing it because of how much faster it is. It's hard to answer because you have to have your answers in your opening hand and coming down on turn 1 or 2. The deck is wildly consistent.
Right. And okay, here comes Thalia as well. So Reanimator can still do something. It plays Dark Ritual, right?
Yeah.
So you can hard cast a Grizzlebrand and just win.
Yes.
It's going to be a lot harder now with a Thalia out. but
Right.
That was going to happen.
Yeah, I have seen these decks do that. Not often, but they do.
Yeah. He just drew an Animate Dead, which is a dead card. Thalia, smash!
Get in.
So we've got itty bitty dice. I'm sorry, guys, but he's taken about 4 points of damage and 2 fetches, so he's at 14 or so.
I think this matchup is a matchup that the life total matters very, very little anyway.
Flicker Wisp, flickering a land. Hey, Crimson, thanks for joining us again. Keeping me honest on what the format really is about.
Have a nice night.
Yeah, so their Rest in Peace just did it, and Matthew takes it down with Rest in Peace with some white
Yes.
cards, and I wonder if Paul should have mulliganed that. I mean, I don't know what he had going on. He needed a discard spell.
It looks like he just needed the discard spell.
Yeah.
He had everything else.
Yeah, and just never saw it.
Yeah, and it's hard to answer both, or sorry, it's hard to have both when you know that your opponent is going to hate you out to such an extreme level.
Right, and so if you don't have the Thoughtseize to Thoughtseize yourself, or the Entomb, or the Mask.
Then
I think it was a Blazing Archon.
it was a Blazing Archon for sure.
Yeah. So we've looked at Invocation. Let's see if I can quickly find the new
one?
Invocation. That somebody said was out. The Locust God. Oh, it looks like we've got. I don't know if this is the Invocation.
I have
it
seen
is.
the Locust God. I have not seen the Invocation, so the card's really cool. And in fact, both of the gods that have been revealed seem quite playable. Let's pull this guy up, yeah. See, now this is an interesting looking one.
Stuff like this. See if we can find it here. We're on multiple
The struggle is real.
sites here. Ah!
No.
No wonder everything gets screwed around every time, right?
Yeah.
It's not my fault, I promise.
I blame Brian.
That didn't work. All right, we'll throw it up right here. Okay, here's this card. Whenever you draw a card, create a 1/1 blue and red insect creature token with flying and haste. Okay. Pay 4 to draw a card and then discard a card and make a token. And when it dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. And it's
So-
6 for 4 for flyer.
So just in case you needed a good card to give you payoff while you're just sitting there drawing cards,
Yeah.
we made this.
Okay. And it's kind of a mirror of the Scorpion God invocation, right? On the other side.
So something I like about this card, first off, both of the gods have the same ability that when they die, they return to the owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step, which is a very powerful ability. They're not indestructible.
Right. Which is nice.
It is nice. And, you know, something that exiles these or something that counters these and exiles them, it's going to matter. What I like about this one, I like this one for standard, honestly. I mean, 6 mana kind of makes it a standard card.
Well, yeah, there's already a blue-red control deck, right? That's doing
Yes.
a lot of this stuff. And this is a great finisher for it.
I just want to cast. Sorry, forgive me. I forget the name, but they printed a card that's 2 blue and X, and you draw X cards,
Yeah.
and then you discard 1.
That's a card.
Yeah. See, with this card, you're gonna have 6 mana to play this, and then the next turn, if you hit your land drop and cast that, that's 5 cards you're drawing, and that's 5 1/1 hasters, flying, that you're getting. That's very powerful.
Yeah.
You can put your opponent on, or you can put it on a very fast clock.
So I think we have one more god to still see
One more.
that hasn't been spoiled yet.
Okay. I mean, there were lots of plagues, so the Scorpion one resembles the creature's plague, that the creatures kind of go haywire and, you know, get everywhere. And scorpions were a big part of that in Egypt. And then the locust plague, obviously. I think that's the most iconic one. But
Yeah, the Scarab God being the
Scarab
blue
God.
black, which is fun. It's fun to have another take on gods. They're not enchantments that are indestructible, where you have to have devotion, and they're not. You have to have these certain criteria, and they're indestructible.
yeah, and I like that the 3 gods share colors with Nicol Bolas. It makes a lot of sense. I like it.
All right, guys. I think we're finished up here for
so.
this Tuesday.
Yeah.
I don't think we have quite enough people to do our cube draft,
No,
but we
We'll-
will try
we'll
and
plan that
get
another
that
time.
to actually happen here one of these days.
for sure.
But join us this Friday. We'll have a stream going Friday for when it'll probably be Legacy as well for Friday night. Or come join us. Come actually into the store and play with us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be playing Legacy. I'm pretty sure this Friday, and then we'll be back here next Tuesday.
Give me a reason to break my deck out. Fight some people. Come on.
Show you what Jones all about. You can
Hey,
go 3-3. It'll be great.
I have other decks that I have access to. I might surprise you. I might not.
Thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you guys.
Right on.